I'm asking you something so simple that it almost seems insignificant, yet the answer you give may reveal more about your heart than you realize. My child, are you really going to deny me 1 minute? Before you move another inch, before your attention slips away to something else, stay here. Do not rush past this moment. There is a reason these words found you now. Out of all the messages you could have seen, out of all the voices competing for your attention, your eyes stopped here. That was not an accident. I know exactly where you are. I know what has been weighing on your spirit. I know the thoughts you have carried into this day. I know the questions you have not spoken aloud. And because I know, I have come to speak directly to you. You have given so much of yourself to things that never truly satisfied you. You have given your energy to worry. You have given your attention to problems that seem larger every time you think about them. You have spent hours replaying conversations, imagining outcomes, carrying burdens that were never meant to rest on your shoulders. Yet here I am, the one who formed you, the one who has watched over you through every season of your life, asking for only 1 minute. Not because I need it, because you do. Something inside you has been tired for longer than you admit. You have learned how to keep moving while carrying exhaustion in your soul. People see you functioning. They see you showing up. They see you handling responsibilities. But I see deeper than that. I see the moments when you feel stretched thin. I see the silent disappointments. I see the private battles. I see the places where hope has been fighting to stay alive. And I also see how often you have pushed aside the very thing that could begin healing those places. Beloved, this is not about 60 seconds on a clock. This is about whether you will let me reach you. It is about whether you will stop long enough to hear what your heart has been missing beneath all the noise. Because if you leave now, you may return to the same confusion that brought you here. You may go back to carrying questions that I am ready to answer. You may continue holding burdens that I have been waiting to help you lay down. But if you stay, something different can happen. Your spirit may begin to breathe again. The pressure that has been tightening around your thoughts may start to loosen. You may finally understand why this title caught your attention and why your heart hesitated before moving on. There are things I want to tell you that cannot be heard in a hurry. There are truths about your life, your weariness, your future, and my love for you that require your full attention. So do not treat this as another passing moment. Stay close. Listen carefully. Let the question settle deep within you. Because before we go any further, before I reveal what I brought you here to hear, I want you to answer honestly. Are you really going to deny me 1 minute? My child, I am not asking you for something heavy right now. I am not asking you to fix your whole life in one breath. I am not asking you to explain every mistake, relive every regret, or suddenly become stronger than you feel. I am simply asking you to stay with me for 1 minute. Just 1 honest minute. And I want you to really hear the weight behind that, because this is not me trying to take something from you. This is me, your Father, reaching toward you with tenderness, asking if you will let me into the very space where you have been quietly falling apart. You may think this is just another message, another piece of content, another passing moment in your day, but you know deep down something in you paused for a reason. Something in your heart recognized that this felt different. That quiet pull you feel right now is not random. That is me drawing close to you because I know exactly where you are, even if no one else does. You have given so much of yourself to things that never truly held you. You have poured your attention into noise, pressure, worry, endless thoughts, and things that leave you more drained than fulfilled. You have spent minutes, hours, even whole days carrying what you were never meant to carry alone. And now when I come to you gently, not with anger, not with condemnation, but with love. And I asked for 1 minute. I want you to understand why this matters to me. It matters because I know what can happen in a single surrendered moment when you finally stop resisting rest. I know what can begin to heal when you stop performing and just let me near you. I know how much of your pain had been hidden under motion, under routine, under pretending you were fine. So when I ask, are you really going to deny me 1 minute? I am not speaking as someone distant from your struggle. I am speaking as the one who has watched you carry it. I have seen the tiredness in you that no one else notices. I have watched the way you keep going even when your heart feels thin and your soul feels worn out. That is why I am asking now. Not to pressure you, but because I love you enough to interrupt what is draining you before it takes even more from you. So stay here with me. Let this be the minute where you stop running internally, where you stop pretending you do not need comfort, where you stop acting like you have to hold yourself together alone. Give me this 1 minute, not because I need your time, but because you need what I can give you inside it. If you stay, you may realize that what you have been needing was never more noise, more effort, or more answers from the world. It was me, sitting beside you, waiting for you to finally let me speak into the place that hurts. And I am still here, my child, asking softly, asking lovingly, asking with all the patience in my heart, are you really going to deny me 1 minute? My child, be honest with yourself for a moment and do not rush past what I am about to say. Look at how freely you have handed your time to things that do not love you back. You have given your attention to worry until it wrapped around your thoughts like vines. You have sat with fear longer than you have sat with peace. You have let voices from strangers, memories from old wounds, and pressures from tomorrow occupy rooms in your heart that were never meant to belong to them. I am not saying this to shame you. I am saying it because I see how tired you are, and I know you did not mean for it to become this way. Life pulled at you from every side. Demands kept rising. Your mind kept racing. Your heart kept trying to keep up. And little by little, what should have been a guarded place became crowded, noisy, and worn thin. That is why I am speaking to you now with such closeness. Slow down. Listen carefully. Let this truth settle in you. You have made room for stress. You have made room for distraction. You have made room for scrolling, overthinking, replaying old conversations, and carrying tomorrow before it even arrives. So why does your heart pull back when I ask for 1 minute? Why do you hesitate when the one who loves you most asks for the smallest opening to breathe life back into you? I know you are not trying to reject me. I know your heart is not cold in the way you fear it might be. You have simply become used to living under pressure. You have learned how to survive in noise, and because of that, stillness feels unfamiliar. But I want you to hear me clearly now. Do not keep giving your best attention to what keeps breaking your peace. Do not keep feeding what drains you while starving what can restore you. Come closer. Set the weight down. Let your guards soften. You do not have to earn this moment with me. You do not have to clean yourself up before you let me in. Just notice what has been taken from you, and then make a different choice right here. Turn your heart toward me. Let this become the minute where you stop handing your soul over to things that leave you emptier. I am not asking because I need your time. I am asking because I know what your spirit becomes when you stop long enough to let me speak. Give me that chance. Let me have this space. If you can give your fear hours, if you can give your distractions entire evenings, then surely you can give your Father 1 minute. Stay with me. Breathe slowly. Let your thoughts settle. I'm here, and I am not here to take from you. I am here to pull you back from the edge of the very things that have been stealing your peace. My child, I need you to know something deeply before we go any further. I have seen the parts of you that no one else has truly noticed. I have seen what you hide behind your routine, behind your responsibilities, behind the version of yourself you show to the world so no one asks too many questions. I have watched you keep moving when you were already exhausted inside. I have watched you answer people kindly while carrying heaviness they could not see. I have watched you sit in rooms full of people and still feel strangely alone. And I have been there in those quiet moments that no one else knows about. The ones where your face changes after the smile fades, where the silence in your room feels louder than the noise in your day, where your mind starts replaying everything you tried not to think about. Do not brush past this. Let yourself hear me. I know about the tiredness you cannot explain. I know about the pressure you keep swallowing. I know how long you have been telling yourself, I just need to get through this week. And then another week comes, and another, and somehow the ache remains. You may have called it stress. You may have called it being busy. But I know when your soul is carrying more than your words admit. That is why my request for 1 minute is not casual. It is not small to me, because I know what is sitting underneath your surface. I know how much of you has been running on empty while still trying to appear strong. I know the moments when you felt emotionally numb and could not even explain why. I know the nights when you were too tired to pray, but your heart still longed for relief. I know the frustration of trying to keep functioning while something inside you quietly asks for help. So listen to me now and receive this without resistance. You do not have to keep hiding from me. Come as you are. Bring the mess. Bring the confusion. Bring the fatigue, the silence, the disappointment, the doubt you feel embarrassed to admit. Bring the version of you that feels worn out and unsure. I am not startled by any of it. I am your father, and I have been close enough to feel every tremble in your spirit. Stop pretending you are only busy when you are actually hurting. Stop minimizing what your heart has been carrying. Sit with me in honesty. Let this be the place where you no longer have to perform strength. Say here, let me meet you in the hidden places. Because the 1 minute I am asking for is not about time alone. It is about finally letting me touch what you have been trying to survive by yourself. My child, do not underestimate what can happen when you stop long enough to truly let me in. You have been living in a world that keeps teaching you to measure everything by size, speed, and visible results. If it looks small, you assume it cannot matter much. If it takes only a moment, you think it cannot change anything deep. But I need you to see this differently. A single minute with me is not just a minute. It can become a doorway. It can become the quiet turning point where your spirit begins to come back to life. It can become the place where confusion starts to loosen its grip, where the fog in your mind begins to lift, where your heart finally feels safe enough to exhale. I am not asking you to hand me some meaningless leftover second from a crowded day. I'm asking you to step into a sacred space with me, even if it seems small on the surface. Come closer and understand this. I have done some of my deepest work in moments people almost overlooked. I have touched hearts in stillness. I have redirected lives in silence. I have spoken peace into chaos when all someone gave me was a brief opening. That is why I am asking you not to dismiss this. Say, open the door. Let this minute become more than time. Let it become an entrance into something holy. You may not feel dramatic change the instant you pause. You may not hear thunder. You may not feel the earth shift beneath you. But do not mistake gentleness for weakness. The deepest healing often begins quietly. The strongest peace often arrives softly. I want you to stop expecting every holy moment to look loud before you believe it matters. Sit down with me. Put the noise aside. Loosen your grip on everything you have been trying to control. Let your breathing slow. Let your shoulders fall. Let your mind stop racing for just this little while. This is how doors begin to open. This is how your soul remembers what it feels like to be held instead of hurried. This is how direction begins to return to a life that has felt scattered. You do not need to understand all of it right now. You only need to respond. Give me the minute. Let me show you what can begin when you stop treating your inner life like an afterthought. Let me meet you in the space you keep postponing. If you will trust me with this one small opening, I will meet you there with more than you expect. I will not waste your attention. I will not ignore your surrender. I will not leave you in the same condition I found you. Step through this doorway, my child. Stay in this moment. What feels small in your hands can become sacred in mine. My child, as you stand at this doorway of a single minute, understand that what you release in obedience becomes a seed in my kingdom. When you choose to support this mission, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into souls, lighting lamps in places still covered in darkness. I've said, give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over, and I speak this over you even now. If this message has opened your heart, then let your response become action, through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link placed before you in the description. Do not see it as small, for I multiply what is surrendered with sincerity. This is how rivers begin, from a single flow released in trust. I am inviting you into something eternal, something that will outlive this moment and reach hearts you may never see. So do not hesitate. Step through this doorway and give now. My child, I want you to be honest with yourself now, because this is where many of your deepest delays have quietly taken root. You have said later more times than you realize. You have told yourself you would sow down later, pray later, heal later, listen later, return later, breathe later, rest later. You have kept believing there would be a better time, a calmer season, a cleaner moment, when your thoughts were less tangled and your emotions less heavy. And I understand why. You have been trying to survive. You have been trying to hold everything together. You have been hoping that if you just get through the next responsibility, the next pressure, the next hard week, then maybe you will finally have the space to face what has been going on inside you. But I need you to see something clearly now. Later has slowly become a wall between us. Not because I moved away, but because delay has become your habit. And habits shape hearts more than you realize. What began as postponement has started to feel normal. You have learned how to function while spiritually hungry. You have learned how to keep moving while emotionally depleted. You have even learned how to call that survival being busy, when deep down your soul has been quietly asking for rescue. So do not keep telling yourself that your heart can wait forever. It cannot. You were not created to live in constant postponement. You were not made to carry spiritual dryness as if it were normal. Come here and hear me clearly. Stop pushing your healing to the edges of your life. Stop treating your inner world like it deserves whatever time is left over after everything else has taken its piece of you. Your peace should not be the last thing on your list. Your soul should not be the room you keep locked because you are afraid of what is inside. Open that door. Let me in now, not later. Choose this moment instead of another excuse. You do not need a perfect setting to return to me. You do not need a quiet life before you can have a quiet heart. Start here. Start tired. Start unsure. Start in the middle of your mess if you must, but start. Give me this minute without bargaining with tomorrow. I am not asking you to promise me some future version of yourself that will be more disciplined, more focused, or more ready. I want you as you are, right now, Let this be the moment where later loses its hold on you. Let this be the place where distance stops growing. Come back while your heart can still feel the pull. Come back while you still recognize my voice. I am here, and I am asking you with love. Do not delay what your soul has been begging for in silence. My child, before you let shame tell you that you have drifted too far, I need you to hear me with your heart and not just with your ears. I have never left you. Not for a moment. Not in the seasons when you felt spiritually dry. Not in the days when your prayers felt weak and unfinished. Not in the nights when you were too exhausted to even form words and all you could do was sit there with a heavy chest and a tired mind. I was there. I was nearer than you realized, even when my presence felt hidden behind your confusion. You have sometimes mistaken silence for absence, and I understand why. When life keeps pressing in and your emotions stay tangled, it can feel like I stepped back. But I did not step back. I stayed close in ways you could not always measure. I was there in the restraint that kept you from falling further than you could have. I was there in the closed doors that frustrated you but quietly protected you. I was there in the moments you almost gave up but somehow found just enough strength to keep going. That strength was not an accident. That was me, holding you in places where you did not even realize you were being held. So stop and receive this now. Do not keep writing your story as if you walked through those seasons alone. You did not. I was in the valley with you. I was in the waiting with you. I was in the silence with you. I was in the ache with you. I never stopped being your father just because your feelings became cloudy. Now I want you to do something simple but important. Lay down the lie that I abandoned you. Put it down right here. Do not carry it another step. Let that false belief leave your heart because it has been poisoning the way you hear me. If you believe I left, then every invitation feels uncertain. If you believe I turned away, then every quiet moment feels unsafe. But that is not the truth. Come closer and let me restore what that lie has stolen. Let me show you that my love remained steady while your emotions shifted. Let me remind you that I stayed through every compromise, every question, every moment of numbness, every distraction, every time you gave your attention to something that could never heal you. I did not move away in disgust. I remained near in mercy. So breathe now. Stop punishing yourself for seasons that wounded you. Stop assuming my silence meant rejection. Sit with me. Trust me enough to let your guard come down. I am not calling you back so I can lecture you. I am calling you back so I can hold you where you have been hurting. Give me this moment. Let me correct what fear has whispered. I am still here. I was there then. I am here now. And if you will stop long enough to let me, I will help you feel what your soul has forgotten, what it is like to be loved without leaving, carried without condition, and called close without hesitation. My child, I want you to look gently but honestly at what has been consuming you, because some of what you call normal life has been quietly stealing from you. You have given your thoughts to fear until it has become a familiar companion. You have given your attention to comparison until peace started feeling far away. You have handed your emotions to old memories, to unfinished pain, to what people said, to what they did not say, to what might happen next week, and to what should have happened years ago. You have sat with regret longer than you have sat with grace. You have replayed conversations, imagined outcomes, chased approval, and carried burdens that were never yours to keep. I say this with tenderness, not accusation, because I know you did not wake up one day and decide to be drained. It happened little by little. It happened through weariness. It happened through disappointment. It happened because your heart got used to surviving under pressure and your mind learned how to stay busy even when your spirit was begging for rest. But listen to me now and do not look away from this truth. What keeps taking from you does not deserve the deepest parts of you. What keeps exhausting your soul should not keep receiving your best attention. Stop feeding what leaves you empty. Stop making room for what keeps dimming the light in you. You were not made to live in constant inner erosion. So I am inviting you. No, I am urging you. Make a holy exchange with me right now. Bring me what has been draining you, and stop protecting it as if it belongs in your life. Hand me the fear. Hand me the comparison. Hand me the regret. Hand me the pressure you carry from people who do not even understand what they are costing you. Hand me the endless need to keep proving yourself. Do not just hear these words and move on. Act on them. Pause and notice what have been sitting in your heart the longest. Name it. Face it. Then release it into my hands. I am not asking you to become instantly fearless or emotionally untouchable. I am asking you to stop partnering with what keeps hurting you. Let me teach your heart a different rhythm. Let me show you what it feels like when peace gets more room than panic. Let me show you what happens when my voice becomes louder than the noise that has been crowding your mind. Come back to me in this moment. Turn your attention away from what keeps draining you and turn it toward the one who can restore you. This is why I asked for 1 minute. Because in 1 minute, you can make a different choice. In 1 minute, you can stop pouring your life into what leaves you thirsty. In 1 minute, you can let me begin to refill what has been running dry. Stay here. Choose wisely. Give your attention to the one who heals, not to the things that keep reopening the wound. My child, I want you to understand my heart clearly here, because if you misunderstand this moment, you may keep resisting the very thing meant to restore you. I did not step into your day to burden you. I did not stop you in the middle of your thoughts so I could demand more from a heart that already feels stretched thin. I am not here to add pressure to your shoulders. I am here because I can see what has been quietly slipping through your hands while you have been trying to survive. I can see the peace that has been fading from you little by little. I can see the tenderness in your spirit that life has been hardening. I can see the clarity you once had becoming clouded by stress, disappointment, and emotional noise. I can see the softness in you being replaced by tension, the hope in you being pushed aside by fatigue, the sensitivity in your spirit being dulled by constant exposure to things that keep pulling you away from what is true. So listen to me closely and do not guard yourself against my voice as if I came to take. I came to rescue. I came to recover what has been leaking out of you. I came to pull you back from the edge of becoming so used to inner emptiness that you stop noticing how far you have drifted from peace. Let that sink in. I am not asking for your minute because I want to interrupt your life. I'm asking because I want to save something precious in you before the world convinces you it is gone forever. So stop resisting this invitation. Do not treat my nearness like one more demand. Open your heart and let me show you what I mean. Let me restore your peace before panic becomes your personality. Let me restore your tenderness before pain turns you cold. Let me restore your clarity before confusion becomes the language of your inner life. Come here. Sit still. Put the noise down. Stop defending the pace that is hurting you. Stop protecting the distractions that are slowly draining your spirit. Let me into the places you have been trying to manage without me. You do not have to be afraid of what I will ask for, because what I ask you to release is only what has been harming you. What I ask you to surrender is what has been stealing from you. What I want to give in return is what your soul has been craving in silence. So receive this as it is meant to be received, with relief, not resistance. Let me rescue the joy that has been thinning out. Let me recover the hope that has been bruised by delay. Let me touch the part of you that has been growing numb. Stay here with me. Do not rush this. If you will let me have this moment, I will begin gathering the pieces you thought were gone. I know exactly what is slipping, and I know exactly how to restore it. Trust me enough to stop. Trust me enough to yield. Trust me enough to let me save what still matters in you. My child, as I restore what has been slipping from your spirit, I am also calling you to become part of the rescue for others. What you give becomes oil in the lamp, ensuring that this light does not go out for those still searching in the dark. I see your heart, and I know the stirring within you, the desire to help, to be part of something greater than yourself. This is your moment to respond, not out of pressure, but out of divine alignment. I have declared that those who sow generously will reap generously, and I am watching over that promise even now. Support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and watch how I breathe back into you what you thought was lost. You are not losing. You are releasing into my hands where nothing is wasted. Let this be the moment you stop holding back and start pouring out. Act now. My child, I need you to look deeper than the surface of what you have been feeling, because what you call stress is not the whole story. What you call being busy is not the full truth. What you call just a hard season has reached further into you than you may want to admit. You are tired in places that sleep alone cannot fix. You are carrying a weariness that is not only physical. It sits in your spirit. It touches the way you think, the way you react, the way you hope, the way you trust, and even the way you pray. You may have gotten used to functioning with it. You may have learned how to answer people, finish tasks, show up, smile, and keep moving while something inside you quietly feels overgrown. But do not confuse functioning with being well. Do not mistake movement for health. A heart can keep going while still running on empty. A soul can keep serving, working, talking, and surviving while quietly bidding for relief. That is where many of you are right now. You are not just stressed. You are spiritually worn down. You are emotionally overextended. You are carrying thoughts, fears, responsibilities, and silent wounds that have slowly built a weight inside you that was never meant to become permanent. So hear me carefully. Stop calling it normal. Stop adjusting to exhaustion as if this is simply who you are now. You were not created to live with a constantly burdened inner life. That is why my invitation is not religious pressure. It is relief. It is rest. It is mercy reaching for you before burnout hardens into numbness. Come to me and stop acting like you must carry everything alone. Sit with me and let your soul exhale. Let this 1 minute become the first breath you have taken in a long time that is not filled with tension. Close your eyes if you need to. Put the phone down for a moment if you can. Relax your jaw. Unclench your thoughts. Loosen your grip on what you cannot control. Then let me meet you there. I am not standing over you with a list of demands. I am standing beside you with rest in my hands. I want to calm what has been spiraling inside you. I want to touch the places where pressure has been building. I want to remind your heart what it feels like when it is not bracing for impact. Let me do that. Invite me in fully. Stop minimizing your need. Stop calling your soul weak because it is tired. Tiredness is not failure. It is often the signal that you have been carrying too much for too long. So answer my invitation now. Come closer. Be still. Let your inner world stop fighting for 1 minute. Let me be your shelter instead of your last resort. You do not need more pressure. You need presence. You do not need more noise. You need nearness. And I am here, my child, asking you again with gentleness and truth, come rest with me before the weight becomes heavier than it ever needed to be. My child, I want to speak to something very tender in you now, because this is one of the hidden reasons you keep moving, scrolling, staying busy, and filling every empty space with noise. Part of you is afraid of stillness. You may not say it out loud. You may not even fully realize it. But deep down, you know that when everything gets quiet, certain feelings begin to rise. Old thoughts return. Regret gets louder. Questions you have avoided start pressing against your heart. You feel the ache you have been outrunning. You notice the loneliness you have been disguising with activity. You become aware of the grief, the frustration, the uncertainty, the things you have pushed down because they felt too heavy to face. So instead of sitting still, you stay in motion. You keep the sound on. You keep your hands busy. You keep your mind occupied. You call it staying productive, staying distracted, staying fine. But I know what is really happening. You have been afraid that silence will expose what you are not ready to feel. And I understand that. I am not speaking to you harshly here. I am speaking to you as your father, because I know how vulnerable that quiet can feel when you have been carrying pain without fully naming it. But listen to me now and let this truth reach you gently. Do not fear the silence so much that you miss the healing hidden inside it. Do not keep running from the very space where I have been waiting to meet you. If you give me this 1 minute, you will not meet condemnation in the silence. You will not meet rejection there. You will not find me standing over you with disappointment in my eyes. You will find me close. You will find me patient. You will find me already aware of everything you were afraid to uncover. So stop fighting the quiet. Come into it with me. Sit down. Breathe slowly. Let the noise fall back. Let the screens wait. Let the pressure pause. If the tears come, let them come. If the ache surfaces, do not shove it back down. If the truth rises, do not run from it this time. Stay with me in it. I can handle what you feel. I can hold what you uncover. I can sit with you in the parts of yourself you have been avoiding. That is why I keep asking for 1 minute. Not because I want a performance, but because I want to show you that silence is not your enemy when I am inside it with you. The quiet that once felt threatening can become the place where your heart finally hears love again. It can become the room where your soul stops hiding. It can become the doorway where fear loosens and peace begins to settle. So come. You not brace yourself against the stillness. Enter it with me. Let me prove to you that what you feared would break you may actually be the place where I begin to mend you. My child, I know one of the quiet lies that has kept you distant, and I want you to bring it into the light with me now. Somewhere inside you, there is a thought that keeps whispering that you should come back to me later, after you have fixed yourself a little more, after you have prayed better, after you have stopped struggling with certain things, after you feel less ashamed, less numb, less conflicted, less messy. You may not always say it in those exact words, but you have felt it. You have thought, I need to get myself together first. You have assumed that closeness with me should happen after you improve, after you become more disciplined, after your heart feels cleaner and your thoughts feel more spiritual. But I need you to hear me clearly and deeply right now. That is not how this works. You do not heal first and then come near me. You come near me and then healing begins. You do not become worthy and then approach me. You approach me, and I remind you that my love was never waiting on your worthiness. I already know everything you are carrying. I know the doubts you do not say out loud. I know the habits you wish you could break faster. I know the shame you revisit when no one is around. I know the resentment, the disappointment, the weariness, the numbness, the confusion, the places where your faith feels thin and your heart feels split in two. And none of it shocks me. None of it disqualifies you. So stop standing at a distance because you think I need a polished version of you. I want the real you. I want the tired you. I want the conflicted you. I want the you that does not even know what to say. So come now, not later. Do not wait until you feel holy enough. Do not wait until your thoughts are cleaner or your emotions are calmer. Come while you still feel tangled. Come while your heart is still sore. Come while you still have questions. Come while you still feel embarrassed by how far you think you have drifted. I am not asking you to impress me. I am asking you to trust me. Bring the hidden things. Bring the part of you that keeps saying, I should be further along by now. Bring the disappointment you feel in yourself. Bring the silence. Bring the struggle. Then let me hold it without turning away. I am not interested in your performance. I am after your heart. And if you will stop trying to prepare yourself for my presence, you may finally discover that my presence is what prepares you. That is why I keep inviting you so gently and so directly. Stop waiting outside the door, thinking you need to look better before you enter. Open it. Step in. Let me meet you exactly where you are. Let me love you in the condition you are actually in, not the condition you wish you were in. Give me this minute without hiding. Give me this moment without editing yourself. I already know, and I am still here, still reaching, still calling you close. My child, I want you to understand something deeply, because if you miss this, you may hear my invitation as something smaller than it really is. When I ask you for 1 minute, I am not standing over you with a clock in my hand, counting down seconds as if I am testing your discipline. I am not looking at this the way the world looks at time. I am looking at the movement of your heart. I am looking at whether you are still willing to turn toward me when everything in your life keeps pulling you in other directions. That 1 minute matters because it says something powerful, even if you do not realize it at first. It says that beneath the noise, beneath the fatigue, beneath the drift, you still want me. It says that even after all the distractions and disappointments, there is still something in you that knows my voice and longs for my presence. It says that your heart has not gone cold, even if it has gone tired. It says that you are willing to interrupt the current of your day and choose something holy over something urgent. That is why I keep asking. I am not after a polished devotional moment. I am not demanding a perfect spiritual performance. I am asking for a sign of willingness. I am asking for your yes in a small place, because I know what a sincere yes can open. A single minute, honestly given, can say, I still choose you. I still need you. I still trust that you can reach me here. And my child, that kind of moment is never small to me. So do not dismiss what this minute represents. Do not treat it like a minor gesture. Let it become an offering. Let it become your turning point. Stop thinking that only grand acts of faith matter. Some of the most beautiful moments between you and me begin in simple surrender. A quiet pause, a softened heart, a whispered prayer, a decision to stay instead of scroll, a choice to listen instead of numb yourself again. That is where transformation often begins. So right now, make this personal. Do not just hear my words, answer them. Turn inward. Tell me with your attention what your lips may not know how to say yet. Let your pause become a prayer. Let your stillness become trust. Let your 1 minute become the moment you stop drifting and start turning. I am not asking because I need proof. I already know you. I am asking because I want you to know that even a small act of return is deeply precious to me. Come close now. Give me the minute with sincerity, not performance. Give me the space with honesty, not polish. Let your heart lean toward me, even if only slightly at first. I can work with that. I can build from that. I can meet you there and carry you further than you think. Just begin. Just turn. Just let this 1 minute say what your soul hath been aching to say all along. My child, that 1 minute you give me reveals your heart, but what you do next reveals your obedience. When you choose to support this work, you are declaring, I will not let this word stop with me. I am the Lord who multiplies loaves and fish, and I am still multiplying what is placed in my hands today. Your giving becomes bread for the hungry, water for the thirsty, and truth for the wandering. Do you feel that pull within you? That is me, inviting you to partner with me in reaching more of my children. Give through Super Thanks, join as a member, or use the PayPal link in the description, and watch how I expand what you release. This is not about the size of the gift. It is about the direction of your heart moving with mine. So answer me not only with stillness but with action. Give now and become part of the harvest. My child, I know there is a kind of pain that comes from remembering how close you once felt to me and realizing how distant everything seems now. For some of you, that ache has been sitting quietly in the background for a long time. You remember when prayer came easier. You remember when my presence felt more familiar, when trust felt more natural, when your heart responded more quickly, when you were not so tangled in distraction, numbness, and inner fatigue. And now when you compare where you are to where you were, shame tries to settle over you like a shadow. You start thinking that maybe you have gone too far, waited too long, drifted too much. You wonder if the distance has become permanent. You wonder if you missed something, if you failed too many times, if the version of you that once felt alive in me is simply gone. I need you to hear me carefully, because this is where many hearts keep themselves trapped. Distance does not scare me. Delay does not confuse me. Drift does not make me abandon what I love. I know how you got here. I saw the disappointments that made you withdraw. I saw the prayers that seemed unanswered. I saw the weariness that made you go quiet. I saw the distractions that slowly filled the places where intimacy used to live. And I did not stop watching over you. I did not stop calling your name. So do not let shame narrate your story any longer. You are not too far for me. You are not too late for me. You are not some impossible case I have no desire to restore. You are still mine, and I still know the road back to your heart. That is why I am asking for one honest minute and not some grand dramatic comeback. I am not asking you to fix all the distance tonight. I am asking you to stop pretending the distance means the story is over. Come back in the smallest true way. Come back with honesty. Come back with a tired whisper if that is all you have. Come back with tears, with silence, with uncertainty, with a heart that does not know how to trust like it once did. Just come. Let this 1 minute be the first step, not the final one. Let it be the beginning of return, not the pressure of instant restoration. I know how to rebuild what feels fragile. I know how to warm what has gone cold. I know how to speak into places that feel spiritually numb. But I need your willingness. I need your yes. So stop standing at a distance, measuring how far you have wandered. Turn around. Face me. Say here. Let your heart soften instead of harden. Let this moment be the place where shame loses its grip and love begins to lead you home. You do not need to feel close before you come closer. You do not need to be strong before you return. You only need to stop running. Give me this minute, my child, and let it become the first true step back into the closeness you thought you had lost. My child, I need you to realize that what is happening right now is more than you simply listening to words. This is not meant to be another passing moment where something touches you briefly and then disappears into the blur of the rest of your day. I am not speaking so you can only feel something and move on unchanged. I am speaking because I am inviting you into a real moment with me, right here, right now. This is not only content. This is not only comfort. This is an encounter waiting for your response. That is why your heart has felt a pull while you listen. That is why something inside you has been slowing down even as your mind has wanted to rush ahead. I am not just sending words toward you. I am waiting for you inside them. I am asking you to stop treating this like something to consume and start treating it like something to enter. There is a difference, and the difference matters. You can hear and keep moving, or you can hear and step in. You can let this brush against your emotions for a moment, or you can let this become a holy interruption that changes the atmosphere inside you. So stop and recognize what this is. This is your invitation. This is your moment. This is the kind of quiet threshold that many people pass by because they are too distracted to notice that I am standing there, holding the door open. But I am not asking you to pass by. I am asking you to come in. So do not stay on the edge of this. Do not remain a spectator to your own healing. Participate. Respond. Make this real. Set the noise down for a moment and enter the space I am creating with you. Breathe slower. Let your thoughts settle. Let your heart stop hovering at a distance. If you need to close your eyes, then close them. If you need to whisper my name, then whisper it. If you need to put your hand over your chest and simply say, "I'm here," then do that. But do not keep standing outside this moment as if it is only meant to pass in front of you. Step into it. I am here now, not later. I am near now, not someday. And I want you to feel that this next 60 seconds can become holy if you let it. I want you to understand that the 1 minute I keep asking for is not symbolic only. It can become real-time surrender. It can become real-time comfort. It can become the moment where your soul stops consuming spiritual truth like information and starts receiving it like love. So come closer. Enter the silence with me. Let your heart answer. Let this become personal. I am not rushing you, but I am calling you. I am not forcing you, but I am inviting you with all the tenderness of a father who sees exactly how much you need this. Step in now, my child. Do not leave this at the surface. Let this become a true meeting between you and me. My child, I want to speak carefully here because this is not meant to frighten you, but it is meant to wake you up. The choices you make in small moments are shaping more in you than you realize. Every time you feel my nudge and push it aside, every time you sense the need to be still and choose distraction instead, every time you know your soul needs attention and tell yourself later, something subtle happens inside you. Your heart begins to learn a pattern. It starts adapting to distance. It starts normalizing postponement. It starts becoming more familiar with noise than with peace, more practiced at avoidance than surrender, more comfortable with surviving than truly being restored. I am not saying this to condemn you. I am saying it because I love you too much to let you ignore what repeated delay is doing to you. A single postponed moment may not seem serious. One ignored nudge may not look dangerous. But patterns are built quietly, and they often grow before you notice them. What you repeat, you reinforce. What you continually resist becomes harder to receive later. That is why I keep coming to you so personally in this message. I do not want your heart to become so trained in avoidance that my voice starts feeling unfamiliar. I do not want you to become so used to rushing past yourself that you no longer recognize when your soul is asking for help. This is bigger than 1 minute. It always was. The minute matters because it reveals the direction of your life. It reveals whether you are still willing to respond when I call, whether you still know how to soften, whether you are still open to being interrupted by grace. So take this seriously, but do not take it fearfully. Take it honestly. Let this be the moment where the pattern changes. Interrupt the cycle. Refuse the old habit. If you have been living in constant delay, stop here and make a different choice. If you have been muting conviction, stop muting it. If you have been treating your inner life like it can wait forever, stop doing that to yourself. Choose presence over postponement. Choose softness over numbness. Choose response over resistance. This is not about being dramatic. It is about being awake. I want you to understand that every small yes to me strengthens something beautiful in you. Every time you pause when I call, your heart becomes more alive, not less. Every time you answer the invitation instead of bearing it, peace becomes more familiar, trust becomes more natural, and my voice becomes easier to recognize. That is why I am asking you not to dismiss this as just a minute. This minute can become a new pattern. It can become the beginning of a different way of living, one where you stop running past your own soul and start responding when I reach for you. So do not wait for another better moment. This is your moment. Break the cycle now. Answer me now. Let your heart relearn what it means to respond when love calls instead of when pressure forces you. I am here, and I am asking with patience and urgency. Do not let another holy nudge become another missed chance to come closer. My child, I want you to hear this next part with hope, because I am not asking you to stop only so I can expose your weariness. I am asking you to stop because I want to begin changing what has been weighing you down. If you give me this 1 minute, I can begin lifting what has felt stuck inside you for longer than you know how to explain. I can start calming what has been spiraling in your thoughts. I can soften what life has made tense in your spirit. I can speak into places where you have been trying to manage everything alone and show you that not every burden you carry belongs in your hands. You have spent so much time trying to be strong in ways that have quietly worn you thin. You have tried to hold together emotions you never fully processed. You have tried to think your way out of pain, plan your way out of fear, distract your way out of heaviness, and perform your way through exhaustion. But I want you to understand this clearly. Some things do not shift because you pushed harder. Some things begin to move because you finally surrendered them. That is why this minute matters. Not because it solves everything at once, but because it becomes the moment where the pressure is no longer locked inside you. It becomes the moment where you stop clutching what has been crushing you. And once you open your hands, I can begin to do what you could never do by force. So stop resisting the relief I am offering. Stop assuming nothing can change just because it has been hard for a long time. Come close. Stay here. Let me start with what feels impossible. I am not promising you something shallow or exaggerated. I am not asking you to expect fireworks so you can finally believe I am near. I am telling you something deeper and more real. If you stay with me in this 1 minute, you may feel the first loosening. You may notice your breathing change. You may feel a small stillness where panic usually lives. You may sense that the thoughts that were shouting begin to quiet just enough for you to hear my voice again. That is not small. That is the beginning. Do not despise beginnings that feel gentle. Do not overlook what starts quietly just because it does not arrive dramatically. Healing often enters softly before it grows strong. Peace often arrives like a whisper before it becomes your atmosphere. So receive this invitation with trust. Hand me what you have been gripping. Name the weight. Offer it honestly. Tell me what has been sitting on your chest. Tell me what has been circling in your mind. Tell me what you are tired of pretending does not hurt. Then let me carry what you were never built to hold by yourself. I can lift what you cannot untangle. I can steady what has been shaking. I can begin restoring what you thought was too far gone. Give me this minute, my child, and let it become the place where you finally stop fighting alone and start being held on purpose. My child, as I begin lifting what has weighed you down, I am also placing something powerful into your hands, the opportunity to lift others. What you give becomes a vessel through which my presence flows, like living water reaching dry and weary souls. I have said that whoever refreshes others will themselves be refreshed, and I am faithful to fulfill my word. This is not SLUCE Adikakwi. It is a divine appointment, a moment where heaven watches your response. Support this mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and allow your offering to become part of someone else's healing. I will breathe upon what you release and cause it to multiply beyond what you can see. Do not delay what I am prompting in your spirit right now. Let your giving become the beginning of lifting more than just yourself. Act in faith. Give now. My child, I want to make this simple now, because your heart does not only need to feel something from these words, it needs to respond. So do this with me right now. Stop scrolling. Stop reaching for the next distraction. Do not move past this like every other moment that almost touched you and then slipped away. Stay here. Give me this minute fully. Not half listening. Not with one foot already leaving. Not while your mind is still racing toward the next thing. Stay. If you can, set your phone down for a moment. If you cannot, then at least hold still where you are. Take one slow breath. Then take another. Let your shoulders loosen. Unclench your jaw. Let your thoughts stop sprinting ahead. Close your eyes if that helps you listen more deeply. Put your hand over your heart if you need to remember that you are still here, still breathing, still reachable. I am not asking you for something complicated. I am asking you to become present. I am asking you to stop long enough for your soul to catch up with your body. I am asking you to let this be real instead of symbolic. So come into this with me now. Not later. Not after one more scroll, one more task, one more thought, one more excuse. Right now. Choose this moment. Let this become the minute you stop treating your own inner life like background noise. Let this become the minute you answer me with your attention. Now that you are here, do not rush to say the right thing. You do not need polished words. You do not need a perfect prayer. Just let your heart become honest in my presence. If all you can say is, "I'm tired," then say that. If all you can whisper is, "Help me," then whisper it. If all you can do is breathe and let tears rise, then let that be enough. I am not measuring eloquence. I am receiving your willingness. So stay with me in this. Let the silence deepen. Let the moment become sacred. If fear tries to pull you away, stay. If distraction starts knocking, ignore it. If your thoughts tell you this is too simple to matter, do not believe them. Simple does not mean shallow. Sometimes the holiest moments begin with nothing more than a stopped thumb, a steady breath, and a heart that finally stops resisting. So remain here. Listen. Feel the difference between rushing and resting. Notice what happens when you stop feeding the noise. Let my presence settle where tension has been living. Let my peace touch the places in you that have been bracing for impact. This is what I have been asking for, my child, not because I needed your minute, but because I wanted to meet you inside it. So do not pull away now. Stay with me. Let this 1 minute become a living invitation, and let your response be simple, real, and full of surrender. My child, now that you have stayed, now that you have slowed down enough to let me near, I want you to listen carefully, because this is what I have been wanting to say to you from the very beginning. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not some passing thought in a crowded world, and you are not carrying your life alone the way it has often felt. I know there have been moments when you looked at everything around you and quietly wondered if you still mattered in a personal way, not just in theory, not just in the language of faith, but in the details of your actual life. I know there have been nights when you felt emotionally stranded, as if everyone could see your function but no one could feel your fatigue. I know how many times you have looked strong on the outside while something inside you felt fragile, tired, or close to breaking. So hear me now and do not argue with what I am telling you. Let it in. You matter to me right now, in the exact condition you are in. You are not disqualified because you are weary. You are not rejected because you are struggling. You are not less loved because your faith has felt weak or your heart has felt distant. I have not been measuring your worth by how well you have held yourself together. I have not been standing at a distance waiting for you to impress me. I have been near, watching, caring, grieving over what has wounded you, and waiting for the moment you would finally stop long enough to let my love reach the places your strength could not heal. So receive this now as if I am placing it directly into your hands. You are still mine. You are still deeply loved. You are still worth stopping for. You are still worth speaking to. You are still worth healing. Do not push these words away because they feel too tender for where you have been living. Let them touch the places that have gone numb. Let them reach the part of you that has started to believe you must earn rest, earn affection, earn rescue, earn closeness. You do not. Sit here and let your heart hear what it hath been starting to hear. You are not beyond repair. The parts of you that feel scattered can be gathered. The parts of you that feel bruised can be soothed. The parts of you that feel spiritually quiet can awaken again. I am not finished with you. I am not disappointed in the way fear has told you I am. I am a father speaking to a child I still adore, a savior speaking to a heart I still pursue, a refuge speaking to someone who has been trying too long to survive in the storm. So stay in this minute a little longer. Do not rush away now that love has found the wound. Let my words settle deeper than your fear. Let my presence sit where shame hath been sitting. Let my voice replace the ones that have told you you are too far gone. You are not. You are here, and I am here, and this moment is proof that I am still reaching for you with all the tenderness you thought you had lost. My child, now that you have heard me, now that you have stayed long enough to feel the weight and warmth of what I am saying, do not treat this as a beautiful moment that fades the second you move on. Do not let this become one more time you felt stirred and then return to the same pattern unchanged. Let this minute become the beginning. Let it become the first stone laid in something we rebuild together. I am not asking you for a dramatic promise you cannot sustain by tonight. I am not asking you to suddenly become someone entirely different in a single instant. I'm asking for something far more real, far more lasting, and far more honest. I am asking you to stay open after this. I am asking you not to close the door the moment you feel a little relief. I am asking you to let this tenderness continue. Let this 1 minute become the moment you decide that you do not want to keep living disconnected from your own soul. Let it become the moment you decide you are done treating my voice like background sound. Let it become the place where you choose to keep coming back, not perfectly, not with polished routines, but sincerely, consistently, and with a heart that is finally willing to be met. I can rebuild with that. I can restore with that. I can breathe life into that. But I want you to understand something clearly. What I began touching in you here was never meant to end here. This was an invitation into relationship, not a temporary emotional release. So make your response simple and real. Stay with me after this message ends. Sit a little longer. Whisper something honest. Ask me to help you keep the door open. Tell me where you feel weak. Tell me where you are afraid you will drift again. Invite me into tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. If you need to step away from the noise tonight, then do it. If you need to choose 5 quiet minutes later, then choose them. If you need to begin again in the morning with nothing more than a breath and a whispered "I'm here," then begin there. But do not walk away from this unchanged in direction. Let this 1 minute lead to another, and then another, not as pressure but as returning. I am not trying to burden your life with obligation. I am trying to rebuild intimacy with you one honest moment at a time. So say yes to that. Say yes to staying open. Say yes to letting me into your ordinary days, not just your breaking points. Say yes to learning my nearness again. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for continuation. Let this not be the end of the moment. Let it be the start of the way back, the start of the healing, the start of the peace, the start of the closeness you thought you had lost. Stay near, my child. Do not let the door close just because the message ends. I am still here, and I want to keep walking with you from this moment forward. My child, before this moment ends, before your hands move again, and the noise of the world starts reaching for your attention, I want you to stay with me just a little longer and hear my heart one last time. I have not spoken all of this to pressure you. I have not opened these tender places in you just to leave you standing there exposed. I have spoken because I love you too much to let you keep drifting past the very thing your soul has been crying out for in secret. You have felt the weight of this message because somewhere deep inside you, you know it is true. You know you have been tired in ways you could not fully explain. You know you have been giving pieces of yourself away to things that leave you emptier. You know there has been a quiet ache in you, a longing for something real, something steady, something that does not disappear when the screen turns off and the room gets quiet. And I have been here the whole time, closer than your next breath, waiting with patience that never ran out, love that never thinned, and mercy that never looked away. So do not rush now. Do not close your heart just because the words are nearing their end. Sit with me. Stay in this tenderness. Let the silence after these words become part of the message too. Let it hold you. Let it settle over you. Let it become the place where your answer rises honestly. Because this is what I have been asking from the beginning. Not for a performance, not for perfection, not for some grand display. I have been asking for 1 honest minute of you. 1 minute where you stop fighting, stop hiding, stop delaying, stop pretending you do not need what only I can give. So here I am, asking you again, but now with even more tenderness than before. Do not pull away from me now. Do not tell yourself this was beautiful and then go back unchanged. Say, come closer. Give me the minute. Give me the next breath. Give me the part of your heart that still knows my voice, even if it has grown faint. If all you can do is whisper, then whisper. If all you can do is sit still, then sit still. If all you can do is say, Lord, I'm here, then say it and let that be enough for this moment. I will meet you there. I will not miss your whisper. I will not overlook your return. I will not reject your small beginning. I am your Father, and I am still here with open hands, with a steady heart, with love that has not moved. So answer me now in the quiet. Let your spirit lean in. Let your walls come down. Let this be the minute that changes what comes next. And as you sit there, with all that you are and all that you are not, hear me one final time, softly, personally, and with all the hope in my heart. My child, after everything I have said, after all the ways I have reached for you, after all the love I have placed before you right here in this moment, are you really going to deny me 1 minute? My child, you have heard my voice. You have felt my nearness, and now I am asking you to respond not only with your heart, but with your hands. This moment is not the end. It is the beginning of something that will reach far beyond you. When you give, you become part of the fire that carries my word into places where hearts are still waiting. I have said that those who sow in tears will reap in joy, and I am ready to bring that harvest into your life. Do not walk away unchanged. Let this be the minute that turns into movement, into impact, into eternal fruit. Support this mission through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, and know that I see every seed. I will cover you, multiply you, and use your obedience to touch lives you will one day rejoice over. This is your moment. Do not deny it. Give now. If this message was for you, do not stay silent. Write, Lord, I will not deny you 1 minute in the comments, and let that be your first act of surrender. Make this more than a feeling. Make it your declaration, your decision, your turning point. I believe the moment you type those words, you are opening a door your soul has been standing in front of for far too long. Do not scroll away from this holy invitation. Comment it now, and let heaven witness your yes. And as you prepare to make that declaration, understand what you are truly saying yes to. These words are not meant to be typed and forgotten a few moments later. They are an answer to a question that has been waiting for you long before this message ever appeared on your screen. Heaven is not looking for perfection from you in this moment. It is looking for your attention, your willingness, and your honesty. Because beneath all the distractions, beneath all the excuses, and beneath all the noise competing for your heart, there is one simple question that remains. It is a question I have been patiently asking, and it is the reason you are still here reading these words right now. My beloved child, pause right where you are. Stop the relentless scrolling, silence the digital noise, and lower the heavy shields you have built around your exhausted heart. I am asking you a question that echoes through the vast corridors of eternity. Are you really going to deny me 1 single minute? In a world that constantly demands your attention, pulling you in a million frantic, fleeting directions, I am standing right in front of you, asking for just a fraction of your time. It is no coincidence that you have stumbled upon this message today. I have meticulously orchestrated the very rhythm of your life, shifting the winds of your circumstances to bring you to this exact intersection of time and grace. Do not swipe away. Do not let the thief of distraction steal this divine encounter from your hands. I implore you to listen carefully to every single word I am about to speak, and to stay with me until the very end of this video. The enemy of your soul desperately wants you to click away. He whispers that you are too busy, too tired, too broken, or too burdened to stop and listen. But I tell you now, with absolute divine authority, if you anchor yourself here, if you commit to watching until the final second, you will receive a breakthrough that you have been endlessly searching for. Close your eyes for a brief moment. Breathe in the reality of my presence. Can you feel the suffocating layers of your anxiety beginning to loosen? I see the silent battles you fight behind closed doors. I hear the weeping that you smother into your pillow at midnight. You have been running on an endless treadmill of sheer survival, desperately trying to hold your fragile world together with your own weary hands. But today, I am offering you a lush, life-giving oasis in the absolute middle of your barren desert. To receive this healing, you must quiet your spirit. You must fiercely resist the urge to rush to the next flashing screen or the next demanding task. The profound transformation I have prepared for you within this message requires your total, undivided focus. Every sentence I speak to you here is a seed of miraculous power, ready to be planted in the fertile, waiting soil of your attention. Think of a magnificent stone fortress, its walls impenetrable and its iron gates locked tight. Your distracted, anxious mind is exactly like that fortress, keeping my profound peace locked safely outside. But your focused attention is the heavy, golden key that turns the lock. When you deliberately choose to stay, when you intentionally decide to give me your ear until the complete conclusion of this message, you are swinging those heavy doors wide open. You are actively inviting the King of Glory to step into the mess, the storm, and the chaos of your current reality. Look at the brilliant expanse of the sky I painted for you, or consider the vast, roaring oceans that immediately obey my command. All of creation pauses to worship me, yet the crown of my creation, you, my precious one, often hurries past without a single glance. It is a piercing sorrow to watch you thirst while standing directly beside the eternal waterfall of my love. I have woven massive, life-altering blessings into the very fabric of your destiny, but they must be claimed in the quietness of our communion. Therefore, bind your wandering thoughts. Tether your spirit to my voice. Treat these upcoming moments not as a casual video, but as a sacred, life-saving appointment with your Creator. Let us begin this journey together, and do not let go of my hand until I have spoken my final, unforgettable blessing over your life. Consider the breathtaking gift of time that I have bestowed upon you. Before you drew your very first breath, before the foundations of the earth were laid in the dark void of space, I held the sum of your days in the palm of my hand. I spun the massive galaxies into existence. I ignited the roaring fires of the sun. Yet I carefully, lovingly measured out the exact seconds of your life. Time is not a relentless master. It is my currency of love, freely given to you so that we might walk together in the cool of the day. Every beat of your heart is a gentle tick of my clock, a constant, rhythmic reminder that I am sustaining your life. Yet, you treat these precious drops of time as if they are infinite, pouring them out onto the dry, dusty ground of worldly anxieties. Pause now. Look at your hands. Realize that the time you hold right now is a sacred, unrepeatable gift, and how you spend it determines the posture of your spirit. You must recognize that 60 seconds can drastically alter the course of a human soul. It only took a minute for the thief hanging beside me on the cross to recognize his Savior, and in that fleeting moment, his eternal destiny was written from ruin to paradise. A single minute of complete, shattered surrender can instantly dismantle decades of destructive habits. 1 minute of crying out my name can part the red seas of your impossible circumstances. Do not underestimate the massive, explosive power of a brief moment spent in my presence. You look at a minute and see a tiny, insignificant sliver of the day. I look at a minute and see a massive, open window through which I can pour out a torrent of heavenly grace, washing away the bitter stains of your past and illuminating the darkened path of your future. I understand the profound spiritual significance of pausing amidst the overwhelming chaos of your life. I watch you sprint through your days, chest heaving, mind racing, breathless, and burdened under the crushing weight of 1,000 meaningless obligations. The world screams at you to hustle, to grind, to constantly produce, wrapping you in chains of endless exhaustion. But I tell you, stepping out of that frantic current to sit at my feet is the ultimate act of rebellion against the darkness. Why? Because a moment of intentional silence is a roaring lion of faith in a deafening, loud world. When you stop everything to simply be with me, you are shouting into the spiritual realm that I am God, and you are not. You are declaring that your provision, your safety, and your success do not depend on your frantic striving, but on my endless, overflowing provision. Feel the stark, beautiful contrast between worldly busyness and divine stillness. The world offers you a treadmill. You run until you bleed, but you never actually arrive anywhere. I offer you a sanctuary, a solid rock where you can stand still and watch me fight your fiercest battles. When you allow your soul to become still, the muddy, swirling waters of your confusion begin to settle, and the crystal clear truth of my love rises to the surface. I am calling you to fiercely prioritize the eternal over the temporary. Open your hands right now. Let the useless sand of your temporary worries, your fleeting fears, and your worldly ambitions fall through your trembling fingers. Grasp instead the solid, eternal weight of my promises. Give me this minute. Give me your focus. Step out of the rushing river of your schedule, plant your feet firmly on the shores of my grace, and watch how I can multiply your time, restore your exhausted soul, and completely transform the narrative of your entire life. Listen to the quiet rhythm of your own breathing for a moment, and realize that I am closer to you than the very air filling your lungs. I am the silent, steadfast companion in every single room you enter, the unseen passenger in your car during your chaotic morning commute, and the vigilant guardian standing beside your bed in the darkest hours of the night. My constant presence envelops you, fiercely protecting and relentlessly pursuing your heart, even when I remain completely unacknowledged by your rushing mind. There is a profound, unmistakable ache in the heart of a father who watches his beloved child walk past him day after day without offering a single word, a fleeting glance, or a simple nod of recognition. I have painted breathtaking sunsets across the canvas of your evening sky, hoping you might look up and remember my name, yet you so often keep your eyes locked on the glowing screens that drain your precious vitality. Cast your mind back to the ancient memory woven into your spiritual DNA, the absolute, unbroken intimacy of Eden. In the cool, golden light of the evening, I would walk beneath the ancient trees with the ones I created, sharing the deepest secrets of the universe in a state of flawless fellowship. I have never stopped yearning for that sacred communion with you. In this modern, deafeningly loud era where every corporation, every notification, and every flashing headline screams for your engagement, giving me your undivided attention is the most magnificent, precious sacrifice you can possibly offer upon the altar of our relationship. It is an act of fierce loyalty that instantly captures my heart. I want you to comprehend the astonishing depth of my love, a love that waits with infinite, enduring patience for your simple, unadorned hello. I do not demand eloquent speeches or theologically perfect declarations from your weary lips. I simply desire the raw, honest sound of your voice. When you finally pause, when you turn your face toward the heavens and whisper my name, the entire angelic host falls silent. To the Creator who orchestrated the roaring thunder and composed the intricate songs of the deepest oceans, your personal, intimate voice is the single most beautiful melody I long to hear. I am not a distant, detached deity managing the cosmos from afar. I am your Father, leaning in, longing for the warmth of your fellowship. Let down your guard, release the heavy armor you wear to survive the world, and speak to me. Allow the profound reality of my yearning to melt the cold barriers around your heart, drawing you back into the loving embrace you were always meant to inhabit. Pause right here and examine the relentless, exhausting treadmill you have been running on. The adversary of your soul does not need to destroy you with catastrophic tragedies. He is entirely content to slowly suffocate your spirit with the creeping, invisible poison of chronic busyness. I see the endless, swirling distractions the enemy meticulously places in your path, the urgent emails, the endless chores, the superficial obligations, all designed with one singular, sinister purpose: to keep us permanently apart. You have been sold a tragic fallacy, a magnificent lie that doing good work for me is somehow an acceptable substitute for spending intimate time with me. But serving in my name while ignoring my presence is like trying to drive a powerful, high-performance vehicle with the handbrake firmly pulled up. You are burning out your engine, generating massive amounts of heat and friction, but you are completely devoid of my replenishing power. Look closely at the architecture of your crowded, overflowing schedule. Without even realizing it, you have taken the heavy bricks of your daily tasks, mortared them with your deep-seated anxieties, and built a towering, impenetrable wall entirely around your heart. You have bowed down to the modern-day idolatry of the hustle, believing the cultural deception that your worth is strictly tied to your exhausting productivity. I am calling you right now to brutally break the heavy iron chains of this demanding, unforgiving master. You were not created to be a mere human doing. You were beautifully crafted to be a human being, designed to rest securely in the palm of my hand. I invite you to learn the lost, sacred art of breathing in my limitless grace at the exact moment the harsh world demands your final breath. When the panic rises in your chest and the demands pile up like a suffocating mountain, stop. Breathe in my peace and forcefully exhale the toxic lie that giving me 1 minute is simply too much to ask. 1 minute is not a disruption to your progress. It is the vital, life-saving alignment of your entire existence. If you believe you are too busy to spend 60 seconds with the creator of time itself, you are not managing your life. Your life is violently managing you. Step off the grinding wheel of endless production. Refuse to let the tyranny of the urgent completely blind you to the glory of the eternal. Reclaim your stolen time, shatter the illusion of your frantic independence, and anchor your drifting soul to the solid, unmoving rock of my eternal presence. Lift your heavy head and look deeply into the spiritual reality that surrounds you right this very second. The simple, deliberate act of acknowledging my absolute sovereignty in the briefest of moments holds enough explosive power to completely shatter the darkest strongholds in your life. Recognition is not a passive thought. It is an aggressive, atmosphere-shifting weapon. When you intentionally stop the frantic momentum of your day to look directly into my eyes, a miraculous, instantaneous transformation occurs within the deepest chambers of your spirit. The colossal, terrifying mountains of your debt, your illness, your relational strife, and your unspoken fears suddenly shrink into insignificance when placed beside the blinding, overwhelming majesty of my infinite power. Consider the profound shift in your perspective the moment you invite me into the microscopic details of your current struggle. The burden that felt like an anvil crushing your chest becomes incredibly light when you realize that the one who holds the expansive galaxies together is simultaneously carrying your fragile, trembling heart. You are desperately searching for peace in better circumstances, thicker bank accounts, or human validation. But I offer you a supernatural peace that entirely surpasses human understanding, a peace that is instantly accessed through a short, honest, breathless prayer. By giving me your focused minute, you are forcefully affirming that I am the unquestioned Lord of your passing seconds, your fleeting minutes, and your unfolding years. Do not underestimate the massive, echoing ripple effect of a heart that boldly stops its frantic pacing to say, "I see you, Lord." That singular moment of divine recognition sends a shockwave of brilliant light through the darkest, most terrifying corners of your reality. It realigns the jagged, broken pieces of your mind, pulling your scattered thoughts back into a cohesive, kingdom-minded focus. When you recognize me, you are actively inviting the miraculous to intersect with the mundane. Your Tuesday morning commute becomes a sacred sanctuary. Your stressful boardroom becomes holy ground. Your chaotic living room becomes the very gate of heaven. Open your spiritual eyes right now. See me standing amidst the swirling wreckage of your unanswered questions. Recognize my hand actively working the impossible on your behalf. and watch how that 60-second acknowledgement injects divine, unstoppable momentum into every single area of your weary life. Hear the tender, desperate call of your Creator reaching out to the exhausted, bone-weary places hidden deep within your soul. I see how you drag yourself from one demanding task to the next, operating on fumes, running on a dangerous mixture of caffeine and sheer, brittle willpower. You are searching for recovery in the temporary escapes of this world, but I am offering you an eternal sanctuary found only in the profound depths of my presence. I promise you, with undeniable certainty, that 60 seconds of authentic, completely surrendered rest in my arms is infinitely better, deeply more restorative, and radically more powerful than hours of restless, anxiety-riddled sleep. True rest is not simply the absence of physical work. It is the absolute, unquestioned presence of the divine within your immediate reality. I am teaching you how to find a holy, refreshing Sabbath right in the middle of a frantic, completely chaotic Tuesday afternoon. You do not need to flee to a quiet mountaintop to find me. I have built a silent, impenetrable fortress of peace deep within your own spirit. When you intentionally pause, you allow me to pour fresh, golden oil into the dry, burning lamp of your soul. I see the flickering wick of your endurance. I smell the harsh smoke of your impending burnout. Let me replenish with the harsh, demanding world has violently extracted from you. Imagine, right now, the deeply physical and spiritual sensation of leaning your heavy, aching head against my broad, unshakable chest. Can you hear the steady, rhythmic heartbeat of the universe beating purely out of love for you? I am inviting you to completely let go of the crushing, impossible weight of the world for just one single minute. You are not holding the universe together. I am. You do not have to orchestrate every outcome, manipulate every circumstance, or solve every looming crisis before the sun sets. Drop the heavy, jagged stones of your responsibilities at my feet. Exhale the toxic, suffocating pressure of perfectionism. Step into the cool, rushing river of my divine relief, and allow the gentle, restorative current of my love to wash away the crippling fatigue of your endless striving. I am your resting place. Sink into me now. You have tasted the profound, life-saving relief of resting in my arms for just 1 minute. Now I invite you to fiercely extend that exact same sanctuary to a suffocating world. I am asking you to partner directly with me today, using your worldly resources to ensure this message reaches the exhausted souls who are dangerously close to breaking. Your financial seed is the golden, pure oil that keeps this digital beacon burning, aggressively guiding lost ships out of the violent storms of anxiety and safely into the harbor of my grace. This is not a random appeal. It is a highly urgent, divine appointment to actively fund the rescue mission of heaven before the darkness consumes another fragile life. Remember my ancient promise, spoken over you right now: give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over into your lap. As you sow into this ministry today, I decree a massive, supernatural multiplication over your finances, fiercely protecting your household from any demonic assignment of lack. Do not delay this holy impulse. Violently push back the darkness by giving through super thanks, becoming a member, or using the PayPal link in the description right now. My beloved child, do not pull your hand away from mine right now. We have only just begun to untangle the heavy, suffocating chains completely wrapped around your heart. It grieves my spirit to the absolute core to watch you even consider turning back to the deafening, blinding chaos when the door to my eternal peace is standing wide open before you. If you walk away now, you are tragically turning your back on the exact healing you tearfully begged me for in the dark. Stay with me. Do not brutally break this sacred, fragile communion. The most miraculous, explosive part of your breakthrough is waiting just ahead. Journey backward with me, leaving the comforts and trivial complaints of your modern life, and stand at the rocky, blood-stained base of the hill called Calvary. I want you to deeply contemplate the agonizing, excruciating hours I willingly hung suspended between heaven and earth, enduring the raw, unfiltered wrath of the cosmos, specifically to secure your eternity. My body was broken, my breath was stolen, and the sky turned completely black as I poured out the ultimate, staggering expression of my relentless devotion to our relationship. I did not endure the horrific brutality of the cross so that we could remain distant, casual acquaintances. I suffered the absolute extreme of agony so that nothing, neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor demons, could ever separate us again. Recall the precise moment I uttered my final breath. The massive, heavy veil in the temple was violently torn from top to bottom by the invisible hands of the Father. The thick barrier, which kept humanity locked out of the Holy of Holies, was destroyed forever to give you constant, immediate, and utterly unhindered access to my throne. When you claim you are too busy to spend a minute with me, you are casually ignoring an open, bloody door that cost the life of the Son of God. I am asking you to fiercely honor the sacred, holy blood that was shed for your freedom by giving me the focused, undivided time I paid so dearly to win. Look into my scarred hands and ask yourself a sobering, deeply piercing question. I freely, joyfully gave my entire life, my absolute all, to pull you from the gripping jaws of death. Can you truly not give me one single minute of your day? When the visceral reality of Calvary sinks deep into the soil of your spirit, procrastination and busyness burn away like dry chaff in a roaring fire. The only natural, logical response to the cross is a heart completely overflowing with radical, uncontainable gratitude. Let that gratitude rise in your throat right now. Remember the chains I shattered, the grave I conquered, and the beautiful, eternal life I have handed to you completely free of charge. Let the staggering weight of my sacrifice anchor your fleeting, wandering attention, and spend this minute worshiping the King who bled to hear your voice. Tune your ears to the profound, delicate frequency of my spirit, my precious child. I am calling you away from the deafening, relentless roar of your modern existence, a world that constantly bombards your mind with a cacophony of urgent demands and artificial emergencies. You are living in an era where the atmosphere is thick with digital noise, where every glowing screen and vibrating device fiercely competes to drown out the gentle, life-giving whispers of the Holy Spirit. But I ask you to remember my servant Elijah, who stood trembling upon the rugged mountain as a fierce, violently powerful wind tore the jagged rocks to pieces. I was not in the destructive wind. Following the wind came a terrifying, ground-shaking earthquake, and then a blazing, consuming fire, yet I was not to be found in the blinding chaos of those spectacular events. It was only when the destructive elements faded away, leaving a profound, absolute stillness, that Elijah heard my still, small voice. I operate in the exact same manner within your life today. I will rarely compete with the screaming anxieties that echo through the chaotic hallways of your mind. Instead, I wait patiently for you to cultivate a silent, sacred inner sanctuary where my truth can finally be heard without obstruction. Recognize the severe spiritual danger of allowing the endless stream of worldly information to completely saturate your waking hours. When you wake up and immediately surrender your first thoughts to the scrolling feeds of tragedy, comparison, and conflict, you are willingly drinking a toxic, paralyzing venom that numbs your spiritual senses. You are essentially building a thick, impenetrable brick wall between your heart and my heavenly guidance. I implore you to intentionally break this destructive cycle right now. Put down the device that tethers you to the heavy, sinking ship of worldly concern. Close your eyes and purposefully train your spiritual ears to catch the subtle, incredibly powerful instructions I am trying to give you every single day. the answers to the incredibly complex, exhausting problems you are currently facing in your career, your relationships, and your internal emotional struggles will never be found in the chaotic noise of popular opinion. They are waiting for you in the quiet, undisturbed waters of my presence. I want to grant you the magnificent, crystal clear clarity that only arrives when you force your spinning world to temporarily stop. When you distinguish my soothing whisper from the vicious, terrifying roar of your own insecurities, your entire perspective radically shifts from panic to power. You begin to understand that the chaotic storms raging around you do not have the ultimate authority to dictate your internal weather. By dedicating just 1 minute to sitting in absolute, unbroken silence with me, you are actively tuning your spiritual receiver to the broadcast of heaven. Listen closely right now. Do you hear it? Beneath the heavy, thudding drumbeat of your deadlines and your lingering regrets, I'm softly speaking a deeply personal, revolutionary word of love directly into your soul. Choose to aggressively defend this quiet space against the relentless intruders of distraction. Build a formidable, unbreachable fortress around your sacred moments of stillness, and fiercely protect the precious time where the Creator of the universe stoops down to whisper the magnificent secrets of eternity directly into your waiting heart. You must realize that the enemy uses noise as a deliberate, tactical weapon to keep you confused, disoriented, and disconnected from your true source of power. He knows that a believer who has learned to clearly hear my voice is a massive, unstoppable threat to the kingdom of darkness. Therefore, step out of the roaring current of your daily anxieties. Embrace the beautiful, terrifying silence, and let my still, small voice become the loudest, most commanding authority in every single area of your unfolding life. Look closely at the dusty, beautifully rugged path laid out before you, and observe the distinct, purposeful footprints I have left for you to follow. During my time wrapped in the fragile confines of human flesh, I constantly demonstrated the absolute, non-negotiable necessity of pulling away from the pressing, demanding crowds. I walked this earth fully God and fully man, yet I frequently sought out desolate, solitary places before the sun even dared to rise, specifically to pray and commune intimately with my Father in heaven. If the Son of God, who held the miraculous power to heal the sick and raise the dead, required these intense, isolated moments of spiritual refueling, how much more do you, my beautifully flawed child, need to anchor your daily rhythm to this exact same practice? You are desperately trying to pour life-giving water into the lives of your family, your friends, and your colleagues, but you are repeatedly drawing from a completely cracked, bone-dry well. I am calling you to drastically reorient the fundamental structure of your day, modeling your hidden habits after the spotless life of your Savior. I need you to deeply understand that your truest, most enduring strength is exclusively found in the hidden, uncelebrated moments of our private communion. The modern culture you inhabit relentlessly glorifies public achievement, loud declarations, and visible, exhausting hustle. But the towering, magnificent trees that easily withstand the most violent, tearing hurricanes are the ones that have spent years quietly pushing their massive roots deep into the dark, unseen earth. Your spiritual vitality operates on this exact same divine principle. You must violently strike a balance between your outward service to others and your inward, passionate devotion to me. It is a dangerous, alluring trap to believe that working yourself to the point of utter physical and emotional collapse is somehow a badge of spiritual honor. I do not desire your exhausted, resentful sacrifices. I intensely desire the tender, focused affection of your completely captivated heart. Walk with me right now into the profound realization that the absolute most productive minute of your entire day is the minute you spend totally surrendered on your knees. When you stop striving and simply kneel in my presence, you are accomplishing infinitely more in the spiritual realm than hours of frantic, self-reliant labor could ever achieve. Walking in the Spirit is not a frantic sprint toward an arbitrary finish line. It requires you to frequently stop, pause, and actively listen to the gentle, course-correcting directions of your divine guide. If you refuse to pause, you will inevitably wander off the magnificent path I have meticulously paved for your ultimate good. So, lay down your heavy tools of self-improvement and sit with me. Let my thoughts become your thoughts. Let my pacing dictate your schedule, and discover the effortless, joyful momentum that comes from simply placing your feet exactly where I have already walked. I have already cleared the heavy brush and defeated the venomous serpents along this road. You only need to stay close to my side. Allow the profound simplicity of this truth to wash over your weary, complicated mind. True spiritual maturity is not measured by how fast you can run for me, but by how willingly you can stop to be with me. As you face the intimidating mountains of responsibility awaiting you this week, do not attempt to scale them using the frayed, unreliable ropes of your own intellect and physical stamina. Instead, tether yourself completely to my unchanging grace. Follow the rhythmic, unhurried pace of the Savior who never rushed, never panicked, and never allowed the urgent demands of the crowd to override his intimate connection with the Father. By stepping perfectly into my footprints, you will find that the journey suddenly becomes lighter, the air becomes clearer, and the destination becomes gloriously secure. Breathe in the staggering, awe-inspiring reality of what actually occurs in the unseen spiritual realm the very second you choose to whisper my name. You often view prayer as a tedious religious obligation, a desperate, last-minute plea when all your human options have tragically failed, or a repetitive recitation of empty words to a distant sky. But I am telling you now, with the absolute authority of the Creator of the cosmos, that focused, intentional prayer is a miraculous, atmosphere-shifting explosion of divine power. When you sincerely speak my name, the towering, impenetrable gates of heaven swing violently open, and the entire angelic host stands at absolute attention. You are not speaking into a dark, empty void. You are boldly entering the majestic throne room of the King of Kings. I want you to recognize the immense, royal authority that is immediately granted to the believer who intentionally decides to linger in my manifest presence. I am inviting you to completely revolutionize your approach to our time together by radically shifting your posture from constantly asking to simply being with your God. While I absolutely delight in giving you good gifts and answering your heartfelt petitions, the ultimate, most magnificent miracle of prayer is not getting what you want. It is getting me. When you sit in silence, fully focused on the radiant beauty of my character, a short, 60-second prayer can instantly dismantle a terrifying, long-standing demonic stronghold that has tormented your bloodline for generations. You do not need to construct hours of eloquent, grammatically perfect sentences to move my massive heart. A simple, raw, tear-soaked whisper of your deepest truth carries the exact same world-changing power as the most elaborate theological discourse, because I am looking directly at the agonizing sincerity of your spirit. Experience the breathtaking intimacy of a genuine, heart-to-heart conversation with the absolute sovereign of the universe. I know every single detail of the heavy, suffocating burdens you are currently carrying, the crushing financial anxieties, the deep relational wounds, the paralyzing fears of the unknown future, but I deeply long for you to voluntarily bring them to me in the quiet sanctuary of focused prayer. Let prayer become the essential, life-sustaining oxygen of your spiritual lungs. Just as your physical body would instantly wither and die without the constant rhythm of breathing, your spirit will rapidly suffocate in the toxic atmosphere of this fallen world without the continuous, refreshing intake of my presence. Do not hold your spiritual breath a second longer. Inhale my limitless peace. Exhale your toxic, accumulated panic. Discover the miraculous, unexplainable joy of simply sitting with me, knowing that as you faithfully tend to the intimate fire of our relationship, I am aggressively fighting every single one of your battles behind the unseen veil of eternity. Furthermore, you must fiercely guard this sacred oxygen line from the subtle, constant attacks of the adversary. He will aggressively try to convince you that your prayers are violently bouncing off a solid bronze heaven, or that you are entirely too stained by yesterday's failures to be heard today. Recognize this as a pathetic, desperate lie from a defeated foe. My precious blood has perfectly cleansed you, and my Holy Spirit has permanently sealed you. Your voice is incredibly powerful, and your prayers are continuously gathered like fragrant, precious incense in golden bowls right before my throne. Therefore, refuse to stay silent. Speak to me with the bold, unapologetic confidence of a beloved child who absolutely knows they have their Father's undivided attention. Your focused minute of prayer is not a weak, passive retreat. It is a massive, aggressive, triumphant strike against the very forces of darkness that seek to destroy you. Open your tightly clenched fists right now, my exhausted, beautiful child, and look at the deep, painful marks left by your desperate attempts to control every single aspect of your chaotic existence. It is time for you to finally, tearfully admit the absolute truth. You simply cannot carry the crushing, massive weight of the world on your fragile human shoulders. You have spent years meticulously planning, anxiously manipulating, and relentlessly worrying, acting as the ultimate master of your own destiny, only to find yourself utterly depleted and paralyzed by fear. The brilliant, life-altering beauty of our relationship blossoms perfectly the moment you voluntarily relinquish your pathetic illusion of sovereignty. I am inviting you into the profound, unexplainable freedom that is instantly found in admitting your total, unapologetic dependence on my endless strength. When you completely hand over the tiny, passing minutes of your day to my absolute control, you are making a massive, heaven-shaking declaration of faith. I want you to firmly trust, with every fiber of your being, that I can do infinitely more in your fully surrendered minute than you could possibly accomplish in a grueling, 24-hour day of frantic, anxiety-driven labor. The world constantly lies to you, screaming that if you let go of the steering wheel for even a fraction of a second, your entire life will violently crash into complete ruin. But I am telling you the exact opposite. Releasing the heavy, suffocating need to be the solitary architect of your future is the very key that unlocks the massive floodgates of my divine provision. I see the complicated, messy webs of circumstances you are desperately trying to untangle. I see the strained relationships, the looming financial cliffs, and the confusing career transitions. Stop trying to furiously dig your own way out of the dark, collapsing tunnel. Surrender your shovel. Lift your empty hands to the heavens and allow the one who flawlessly spun the complex galaxies into existence to effortlessly organize the complicated details of your fleeting life. Discover the magnificent, countercultural strength that is only found in the absolute surrender of your time. By giving me your focused attention, you are actively dethroning the cruel, demanding idol of self-reliance that has held you in a state of constant, low-level panic for decades. Let the soothing, cool waters of my sovereignty wash over the burning, inflamed areas of your need for absolute control. You are not giving up. You are powerfully giving over. You are transferring the massive liability of your future from your weak, trembling hands into the permanent, unshakable vault of my eternal wisdom. Breathe a deep sigh of genuine, heartfelt relief right now. You are officially off the hook for managing the universe. Let me be God, and you simply be my deeply cherished, fully protected child. Watch how the massive, immovable obstacles in your path suddenly begin to miraculously shift the moment you finally decide to trust me with the reins of your reality. Do not allow the blinding spirit of pride to convince you that surrender is a form of cowardly defeat. In my kingdom, the deliberate act of bowing down is the absolute highest form of spiritual warfare, and the posture of surrender is the exact position from which kings and queens are crowned. When you relinquish your desperate grip on how you think your life should unfold, you beautifully clear the stage for my breathtaking, miraculous plans to dramatically manifest. I have meticulously designed a future for you that is vastly more magnificent, deeply fulfilling, and wildly abundant than anything your limited, anxious mind could ever construct. Therefore, confidently hand over your tightly guarded schedule, your secret ambitions, and your deepest fears. Step completely out of the suffocating, exhausting driver's seat and allow the master of the universe to flawlessly navigate your soul toward the spectacular, eternal horizon of my perfect, unchanging will. Just as you have beautifully, tearfully surrendered the frantic control of your minutes to my sovereign hands, I am now calling you to surrender a portion of your worldly harvest to aggressively fund my eternal kingdom. Will you deny me the resources needed to broadcast this life-saving truth to millions who are still desperately trapped in the heavy, suffocating chains of self-reliance? I am personally extending an invitation for you to let your generosity flow like a torrential, uncontainable river through the dry, barren wastelands of the internet, bringing the living water of my word to spiritually starved multitudes. The hour is terrifyingly late, and the enemy is spending billions to drown out my truth. Your immediate financial support is a violent, targeted counterattack against the kingdom of darkness. Hear my living voice declaring directly over your life. He who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will also completely supply and drastically increase your store of seed. For every dollar you faithfully release today, I will pour out an avalanche of divine favor, instantly opening impossible doors of prosperity and protection for your family. Step violently into this kingdom partnership by clicking the Super Thanks button, joining as a channel member, or donating through PayPal below right this very second. Are you growing weary of my voice, my precious one? Do not let the vicious thief of distraction violently steal you away from this holy altar. It profoundly pierces my fatherly heart to watch you instinctively reach back for the crushing, toxic burdens I just commanded you to drop. To stop listening now would be to prematurely abandon the magnificent, delicate surgery I am actively performing on your soul. Anchor yourself here. I am pouring out the absolute secrets of your deliverance, and it would be a tragic, heartbreaking disappointment if you left before the final, glorious seal is broken. Still your racing, anxious thoughts, and absorb the immense, comforting warmth of my absolute, ironclad promise. I am with you always, even unto the very end of the age. This is not a poetic, sentimental metaphor designed to merely make you feel better in a difficult, passing moment. It is the fundamental, unshakable reality of your entire existence. The enemy works tirelessly to isolate you, whispering vicious, toxic lies into your mind that you are completely abandoned, utterly misunderstood, and navigating this harsh, unforgiving world entirely on your own. I am here right now to aggressively validate the magnificent truth that you are never truly alone. From the incredibly painful moments when you cry yourself to sleep in the pitch-black darkness, to the mundane, exhausting hours you spend fighting through the chaotic traffic of your daily routine, my presence is a permanent, impenetrable shield entirely surrounding your fragile life. You must deeply understand how the simple, intentional act of acknowledging me instantly brings my invisible, atmospheric presence into sharp, undeniable view. When you stop your frantic pacing for just 1 minute to say hello to your Creator, it is as if a brilliant, blinding spotlight is suddenly switched on in a pitch-black room, immediately revealing the massive, comforting form of the Good Shepherd standing directly beside you. I am the fiercely loyal shepherd who absolutely refuses to ever leave the side of his precious, vulnerable sheep, especially when the terrifying wolves of anxiety, depression, and financial ruin are loudly howling at the fragile edges of your life. Even in those tragic, heartbreaking seasons when you deliberately choose to look away from me, completely consumed by your own rebellion or paralyzing despair, I steadfastly remain. I do not flinch, I do not abandon, and I do not retreat. I stay violently close, patiently waiting for the exact moment you finally decide to turn your weary face back toward my unfailing light. Experience the deep, bubbling, uncontainable joy of walking a path that is fundamentally and eternally non-solitary. You were entirely created for divine companionship, knitted together in your mother's womb for absolute communion. The heavy, crushing ache of loneliness that you constantly try to medicate with mindless entertainment, toxic relationships, were endless. Mind-numbing work is, in reality, a profound, sacred homesickness for my presence. Let me fill that massive, echoing void inside your chest right this very second. Feel the undeniable, tangible weight of my love wrapping tightly around your shaking shoulders like a thick, heavy blanket on a freezing winter night. You do not have to beg me to come near, you only need to open your spiritual eyes and boldly recognize that I have been walking right beside you since the exact moment you took your very first breath. Give me this minute to powerfully remind you of who walks beside you. Let the magnificent, roaring truth of my constant companionship permanently shatter the fragile, pathetic illusion of your isolation. Do you realize the massive, unassailable confidence this divine truth should instantly inject into your exhausted veins? When you walk into a hostile boardroom, a terrifying medical clinic, or a difficult, emotionally charged confrontation, you are not walking in as a solitary, defenseless target waiting to be destroyed. You are walking in completely accompanied by the invincible Lion of the tribe of Judah, surrounded by an unseen, heavily armed escort of angelic warriors fighting fiercely on your behalf. My constant companionship completely alters the spiritual odds of every single battle you will ever face. The terrifying, looming giant standing arrogantly in your path must now negotiate directly with me. So, lift your heavy head, square your weary shoulders, and completely banish the pathetic spirit of intimidation. You are powerfully, eternally accompanied by the unstoppable, undefeated King of Glory, and absolutely nothing in this world, or the next, can ever forcefully sever the magnificent, blood-bought bond of our eternal companionship. Look around you in this exact moment, my precious child, and aggressively shift the heavy, downward gaze of your exhausted mind. I am commanding you to use this one singular minute to deliberately count the breathtaking, unmerited blessings I have faithfully showered upon your life. You have allowed the dark, suffocating clouds of complaint and chronic dissatisfaction to heavily veil your spiritual eyes. You look at your demanding career, your chaotic household, your fluctuating finances, and your aging body, and you allow the toxic whisper of not enough to steal the vibrant joy of your daily existence. But I tell you now, gratitude is not merely a polite gesture, it is a violent, earth-shaking weapon against the encroaching darkness of despair. When you intentionally pivot from a spirit of bitter complaint to a soaring spirit of radical praise, you literally blow the massive, heavy iron gates of my heavenly courts wide open. Thankfulness is the magnificent, golden key that instantly unlocks the overflowing vaults of my supernatural favor. I want you to deeply recognize the hidden, profound mercy seamlessly woven into the ordinary fabric of your completely routine Tuesday. You wake up and blindly expect the sun to rise, entirely forgetting that it is my breath that ignited its roaring fires and my precise command that suspended it in the vast, empty void. You inhale the cool morning air, completely ignoring the complex, miraculous rhythm of your lungs, a rhythm I meticulously designed and continuously sustain. The hot water rushing over your tired shoulders, the laughter of a loved one echoing down the hallway, the warm nourishment sitting on your kitchen table. These are not random, fortunate accidents of an indifferent universe. They are highly intentional, deeply personal love letters written directly to you by the Creator of all things. Stop walking blindly past the burning bushes of my daily provision. Open your eyes, awaken your dulled senses, and behold the staggering, overwhelming abundance that perfectly surrounds you even in the absolute middle of your most difficult season. A heart that vigorously practices gratitude becomes a massive, undeniable magnet for my divine favor. The adversary desperately wants to keep you locked in a dark, suffocating prison of resentment, constantly comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles to the curated, artificial highlight reels of everyone else's lives. Break that bitter, suffocating chain right now. Let a simple, tear-filled thank you rise from the absolute depths of your weary soul. Thank me for the doors I slammed shut to aggressively protect you from unseen destruction. Thank me for the painful, uncomfortable seasons of waiting that forcefully expanded your capacity to hold my glory. Thank me for the agonizing breaking that finally allowed my healing light to completely penetrate your guarded heart. Give me just 1 minute to radically transform your perspective. As you actively praise me for the gift of this exact, fleeting breath, you will feel the crushing, impossible weight of your anxieties instantly evaporate in the blinding, radiant sunshine of my relentless goodness. Stand completely still and confront the sobering, deeply majestic reality of your own mortality. I want you to truly understand that your physical life, with all its frantic rushing, its desperate accumulations, and its fierce, burning ambitions, is absolutely nothing but a fragile vapor in the mighty wind of eternity. You behave as though you possess an infinite, unending reservoir of tomorrows. You endlessly postpone our sacred meetings, foolishly gambling with the absolute most valuable currency you possess, your fleeting time. I am the Ancient of Days. I have watched majestic empires rise in staggering glory and crumble into forgotten, blowing dust. Against the massive, incomprehensible backdrop of eternity, your 80 or 90 years on this spinning earth are but a single, rapid blink of an eye. This is not meant to paralyze you with fear, but to shock your dormant spirit into a state of fierce, vibrant, and urgent wisdom. You must number your fleeting days so that you may gain a heart of profound, eternal wisdom. Do not play a dangerous game of roulette with your internal peace by constantly delaying our communion. The great dissection of your 30s and beyond is the persistent, soothing lie that life will eventually settle down. You tell yourself that when the mortgage is paid, when the children are grown, when the promotion is finally secured, then you will passionately seek my face. My beloved, the world never settles down. It only endlessly shifts its chaotic demands. I am commanding you to seek me aggressively while I may be found in the powerful, vibrating reality of the now. Yesterday is a permanently sealed vault, and tomorrow is an entirely unwritten manuscript. The only place we can truly intersect, the only moment where my miraculous power can practically invade your physical reality, is in the sharp, immediate present. Do not let the deceptive comfort of later brutally assassinate the divine potential of your today. Feel the intense, burning urgency of spiritual intimacy in a rapidly passing, decaying world. The sleek cars you drive will eventually rust into useless metal. The impressive bank accounts you obsess over will mean absolutely nothing on the other side of the veil. The corporate titles you bleed for will be instantly given to another. Why are you pouring the absolute best, most vital energy of your fleeting moments into things that are destined for the fire? I am inviting you to aggressively invest your precious seconds into the only two things that will cross the threshold of eternity: my unbreakable word and the human souls I passionately love. Give me your minute right now. Stop chasing the fading, hollow shadows of earthly success, and anchor your rapidly beating heart to the solid, unmoving, and glorious rock of the eternal King. Bring the shattered, bleeding pieces of your exhausted soul directly to the great physician right now. I see the deep, hidden wounds you desperately tried to conceal beneath a polished, competent exterior. I know the agonizing betrayals that have left you completely paralyzed with distrust. I see the heavy, suffocating blanket of grief you carry for the dreams that tragically died and the relationships that violently fractured. You have tried to medicate this profound, aching pain with the temporary, hollow anesthetics of this world, with endless distraction, with numbing substances, with the frantic pursuit of human approval. But none of it can reach the absolute core of your spiritual infection. I am offering you the miraculous, soothing balm of my Holy Spirit. Step into the clinical, yet infinitely tender light of my presence. I do not recoil from your messy, festering wounds. I lean into them with the absolute, precise authority of the Creator who knows exactly how to make all things entirely new. You must realize that 60 seconds immersed in the pure, concentrated radiation of my love can begin to radically heal decades of profound, accumulated pain. Healing is not always a slow, grueling marathon. Sometimes, it is a sudden, miraculous collision with my absolute goodness. When you intentionally stop and bring your fractured heart to me, I take the jagged, ruined fragments of your life and fuse them back together with the liquid, unyielding gold of my divine grace. Let me gently wipe away the silent, bitter tears you fiercely hide from everyone else. I am the only one who fully comprehends the staggering, crushing weight of your silent suffering. I am the only one who can reach into the darkest, most terrifying corridors of your memories and speak a word of absolute, transformative peace over your deepest traumas. Surrender the heavy, exhausting armor you have built to fiercely protect yourself from further pain. Trusting me with your profound brokenness is the most courageous, terrifying, and ultimately liberating decision you will ever make. You believe your scars disqualify you from my presence, but I tell you, your scars are the exact places where my glorious light will shine the brightest. Allow the restorative, overwhelmingly warm power of a divine embrace to completely envelop you right this very second. Stop running. Stop fighting. Stop trying to furiously bandage your own fatal wounds. Collapse into my arms for just 1 minute. Feel the toxic venom of unforgiveness, the paralyzing grip of shame, and the deep, cold ache of rejection being violently drawn out of your spirit. In my presence, there is complete, unquestionable, and permanent restoration waiting for the child bold enough to ask for it. Listen closely to the terrifying, plashing sounds of the invisible spiritual war violently raging around you every single day. You step out of your front door and are immediately bombarded by the flaming, venomous arrows of the adversary, arrows of deep financial panic, heavy artillery of marital strife, relentless spears of imposter syndrome, and the sudden, suffocating ambushes of health anxieties. You are attempting to fiercely fight a heavily armed, supernatural enemy using the weak, brittle weapons of your own intellect and sheer human willpower. I am commanding you to retreat immediately into the impenetrable, heavily fortified sanctuary of the secret place. When you deliberately spend your focused time with me, you are not just ticking off a religious box. You are actively strapping on massive, indestructible plates of ancient, divine armor perfectly designed for the day's brutal battles. Imagine the profound, sensory experience of stepping completely under the colossal, warm, and absolutely impenetrable shadow of my almighty wings during a violent, destructive hailstorm. The demonic chaos may still be screaming loudly around you. The terrifying winds of circumstance may be desperately trying to rip you away, but entirely hidden within the fortress of my presence, you remain completely untouched. This is the massive, unshakable spiritual fortification that instantly comes from a dedicated moment of raw, unfiltered worship. The enemy of your soul completely terrifies the distracted, frantic believer, but he absolutely cowers in sheer, trembling terror before the child who deliberately stops everything to aggressively talk to their Heavenly Father. Your quiet minute of prayer is a deafening, terrifying war cry in the kingdom of darkness. Secure your incredibly vulnerable mind right now. You must build a massive, solid fortress of faith, laying it down carefully, stone by stone, minute by devoted minute. When you give me your first and best attention, I actively wrap a thick, impenetrable titanium shield around your fragile emotions and your scattered thoughts. I fiercely defend your territory while you rest in my absolute sovereignty. Do not march onto the brutal, unforgiving battlefield of your daily life completely naked and spiritually exposed. Pause. Breathe. Let me forcefully equip you with the belt of truth and the shield of faith. Acknowledge my absolute supremacy, and watch as the terrifying giants that once kept you awake in cold, shivering sweats instantly become grasshoppers beneath the heavy, crushing boots of my divine authority. You have securely taken refuge beneath the impenetrable, titanium shield of my presence, but there are countless others standing completely naked and defenseless on the brutal battlefield of life. I am extending a direct, prophetic invitation for you to help construct this massive spiritual fortress for others, aggressively ensuring they hear my voice before the enemy's flaming arrows destroy them. Your financial gift is the heavy stone and holy mortar used to build towering sanctuaries of faith online, sparking blazing fires of revival in the coldest, darkest corners of the earth. Do not blindly scroll past this critical moment, for this is a highly urgent mandate from the throne room to actively weaponize your wealth for the massive salvation of human souls. I speak this ancient truth directly into your waiting spirit today. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops, then your barns will be filled to overflowing. I decree that as you financially defend the spread of this ministry, my warrior angels will fiercely defend your personal finances, completely blocking every demonic assignment of debt against your home. Release your best offering with absolute, unapologetic confidence through a super thanks, a channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description right now. Listen to me closely, do not dare step out of this sanctuary yet. The spiritual wolves are violently howling just outside this very moment, desperately waiting for you to drop your guard and click away. It brings literal tears to my eyes to see my beautifully equipped children prematurely leave the absolute safety of my fortress, only to be instantly devoured by the toxic anxieties of the world. You are only half armored. Violently refuse the sudden, deceptive urge to leave me. Honor my desperate, burning desire to fully protect you, and stay fiercely anchored in my voice until your spiritual shield is absolutely impenetrable. Identify the subtle, creeping, and utterly deadly poison that the adversary is constantly injecting directly into your spiritual veins, the spirit of procrastination. Later is the absolute favorite, most heavily utilized word in the dark arsenal of the enemy. He does not need to fiercely convince you to violently reject me. He only needs to softly, persuasively convince you to simply delay me. He whispers the smooth, comforting lie that you will finally dedicate time to our relationship when the perfect moment arrives, when the house is spotlessly clean, when the massive work project is totally finished, when your chaotic mind finally feels perfectly serene. My beloved child, I am telling you with forceful, unapologetic clarity, the perfect time is a complete, manufactured illusion designed specifically to keep you perpetually disconnected from your source of power. The only real, tangible time you possess is the raw, messy, complicated here and now. I am demanding that you aggressively break the deeply ingrained, toxic habit of continuously putting your magnificent creator at the absolute bottom of your endless to-do list. You easily find 60 minutes to mindlessly scroll through the artificial, fabricated lives of strangers. You easily find 2 hours to binge-watch meaningless entertainment that leaves your soul utterly hollow. Yet you claim you cannot find 60 seconds to sit with the King of Glory. This is not an issue of time management. This is a profound, critical issue of spiritual allegiance. Procrastination is a heavy, invisible iron chain that keeps you perpetually locked in a state of spiritual infancy, constantly intending to grow but never actually taking the fierce, disciplined steps to mature. Choose me today. Choose me this very hour. Choose me in this exact, fleeting minute. Immense, unshakable discipline of the soul that directly leads to profound spiritual maturity requires you to violently force your flesh into total submission. You must forcefully command your wandering mind to stop, sit, and listen. Do not wait for a warm, fuzzy feeling of inspiration to strike you. Inspiration is an unreliable, fickle companion. Act on absolute, unwavering obedience. The moment you forcefully push past the heavy, suffocating resistance and prioritize my presence, the thick, blinding fog of procrastination will instantly burn away. You will discover an explosive, miraculous surge of energy and profound clarity that can only be found when you violently refuse to let the deceptive, comforting lie of tomorrow brutally rob you of the staggering power of today. Bring the massive, overwhelming weight of your looming decisions to the foot of my throne right this very moment. I see you standing at the terrifying, completely obscured crossroads of your life, entirely paralyzed by the paralyzing fear of making the absolute wrong choice. You are frantically analyzing every possible variable, endlessly running exhausting scenarios in your heavily burdened mind, desperately trying to map out a secure future using the incredibly limited, flawed compass of human logic. I am commanding you to aggressively seek my divine, unfailing counsel before you take a single, solitary step into the unknown dark. When you intentionally surrender just 1 minute of your frantic striving to genuinely ask for my guidance, you instantly save yourself years, perhaps even decades, of agonizing, heartbreaking wandering in the dry, unforgiving wilderness of your own mistakes. Why would you blindly stumble through the blinding, suffocating fog of uncertainty when the architect of the universe is offering to personally illuminate your specific path? Look deeply into the staggering, magnificent contrast between your earthly perspective and my absolute, sovereign vision. You're currently navigating a complicated, towering maze from the ground level, constantly hitting brutal dead ends and terrifying blind spots, only able to see the immediate, imposing walls standing directly in front of your face. But I dwell in the highest, unapproachable light. I clearly see the intricate, glorious end of your journey from the very beginning. By giving me your focused attention, you are actively inviting the Creator's aerial perspective into your immediate, chaotic reality. Trusting my perspective over your own limited, severely fractured understanding requires a violent, radical act of absolute faith. It means intentionally letting go of your desperate, suffocating need to completely understand the how and the when, and instead placing your absolute trust entirely in the unchanging, perfect character of the who. Quiet the deafening, contradictory voices of the world's so-called experts, the unsolicited opinions of your peers, and the relentless, roaring anxiety of your own insecurities. Listen closely for the profound, undeniable whisper of the Holy Spirit speaking directly into the absolute center of your soul, declaring with gentle, unshakable authority, "This is the way, walk in it." That one sentence from my lips carries enough explosive, miraculous power to completely obliterate a mountain of constant, crippling confusion. I am the brilliant, blinding lighthouse piercing through the thickest, most terrifying storms of your life, carefully guiding your fragile ship away from the hidden, jagged rocks of catastrophic failure. Do not attempt to bravely navigate these treacherous, unpredictable waters on your own. Embrace the profound, entirely supernatural peace that instantly floods your spirit when you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are moving directly within the exact center of my perfect will. This peace is not dependent on favorable circumstances or logical outcomes. It is a heavy, solid anchor drop deep into the bedrock of my absolute sovereignty. When you prioritize my presence, the complicated, twisting roads of your career choices, your relational boundaries, and your financial investments suddenly become remarkably clear. Give me your minute today and allow my infinite, flawless wisdom to effortlessly untangle the massive, impossible knots of your tomorrow. Walk confidently forward, knowing that the master of the cosmos is meticulously directing your every single step. Cast away the deeply ingrained, completely toxic lie that I am a distant, perpetually disappointed taskmaster constantly glaring down at your daily failures. I want you to deeply experience the staggering, uncontainable reality of my absolute delight in your company. My joy in you is boundless, fiercely passionate, and entirely independent of your exhausted, frantic productivity. When you intentionally turn your wandering thoughts toward me, even for a fleeting, 60-second minute in the absolute middle of a chaotic day, a brilliant, magnificent smile breaks across the face of your heavenly Father. You have been beautifully, meticulously crafted not for endless servitude, but for profound, intimate, and profoundly joyful interaction with the divine. Experiencing the sheer, unparalleled pleasure of being a fully adopted, wildly loved child of the Most High is the ultimate, magnificent antidote to the soul-crushing depression of this fallen world. Consider the breathtaking, sensory reality of what happens in the unseen realms when you direct your attention to me. Your authentic, raw worship, even when it is broken, tear-stained, and completely imperfect, rises up to the massive courts of heaven as a staggeringly sweet, intensely precious fragrance. To the world, your quiet minute of prayer might look entirely unproductive, a foolish waste of highly valuable time. But in the grand, majestic throne room of eternity, your voice is the singular symphony that commands the absolute attention of the Creator. Out of all the roaring oceans, the majestic, snow-capped mountains, and the spinning, burning galaxies, it is your personal, specific voice that deeply moves the massive heart of God. Do not withhold this magnificent joy from me, and do not ruthlessly starve your own soul of the profound connection you were fundamentally designed to crave. Imagine the spectacular, earth-shaking celebration that erupts among the angelic host the exact moment a distracted, exhausted heart finally stops its frantic running and deliberately seeks its true home. Every single time you pause to whisper my name, a victory banner is violently raised in the spiritual realm. You are actively declaring that the fierce gravitational pull of my love is infinitely stronger than the dazzling, dangerous distractions of the temporary world. I am inviting you to aggressively pursue your greatest, most profound happiness exactly where it has always resided, directly in the radiant, tealing light of my countenance. The temporary thrills, the artificial chemical highs, and the fleeting human validations you constantly chase will invariably leave you hollow, bitterly disappointed, and desperately thirsting for more. Step fully into the warm, golden sunshine of our divine interaction right now. Stop believing the heavy, suffocating illusion that you must meticulously clean yourself up, perfect your theology, or achieve a state of flawless emotional zen before you can approach me. I desperately want you exactly as you are in this very second, messy, completely exhausted, and intensely vulnerable. The miraculous joy of our connection is entirely found in the absolute, beautiful authenticity of your surrender. Let the immense, cascading waterfalls of my divine pleasure wash away the heavy, grimy residue of your spiritual striving. Give me your time, give me your honest heart, and absolutely revel in the magnificent, entirely unmerited joy of being profoundly known and fiercely loved by the King of all kings. Examine the deep, hidden reservoirs of your spiritual vitality right now, and fiercely emit the terrifying reality of your own bone-deep burnout. You have been sprinting on the harsh, unforgiving treadmill of modern existence, desperately pouring out your limited energy to everyone around you until you are completely running on the toxic fumes of anxiety and artificial stimulants. You are operating exactly like a high-performance Ferrari furiously driving with the handbrake violently pulled on. You possess immense, God-given potential, but your fierce, self-limiting exhaustion is causing catastrophic internal damage. I am offering you an immediate, life-saving intervention. Like a torrential, icy downpour of pure mountain water crashing over a parched, violently cracked desert, so is the immediate, explosive entry of my living word into your desperately thirsty soul. You do not merely need a vacation or a change of scenery. You absolutely require a profound, supernatural resurrection of your inner spirit. Receive the powerful, rushing second wind of the Holy Spirit that is exclusively available in the secret place of our communion. When the thick, blinding fog of exhaustion heavily settles over your mind, making even the smallest, most routine tasks feel like climbing a massive, sheer cliff face, stop everything. Do not violently push through the pain under the false, culturally applauded banner of resilience. True, unshakable resilience is found in the deeply humble recognition of your own profound limits. By pausing for just one focused minute, you are actively plugging your completely drained, dying battery directly into the limitless, surging powerhouse of the universe. I will instantly flood your fragile nervous system with a profound, unexplainable peace, systematically lifting the heavy, suffocating blanket of fatigue and illuminating your mind with the brilliant sunshine of my sustaining grace. Consume the rich, dense spiritual nourishment that can only be found in a dedicated moment of absolute stillness. You have been starving your eternal spirit by feeding it the empty, heavily processed junk food of endless social media scrolling, toxic news cycles, and meaningless, superficial entertainment. I am calling you to the massive, overflowing banqueting table of my presence. One single minute of deeply meditating on the absolute truth of my promises will actively rejuvenate your completely battered spirit, instantly preparing you for the impossible tasks I have purposefully set before you today. You must absolutely understand that deliberately skipping our time together does not miraculously give you more hours in the day. It only makes the journey exponentially harder, heavier, and more fiercely agonizing. Reject the catastrophic deception that you can successfully survive the brutal, demonic crossfire of this world while entirely disconnected from your divine supply line. When you attempt to violently forge ahead without pausing to drink from my well, you become dangerously brittle, easily offended, deeply cynical, and highly susceptible to the darkest lies of the enemy. Protect your fragile joy by violently insisting on this holy pause. Let the heavy, crushing burdens of your responsibilities violently slide off your aching shoulders and crash to the floor. Breathe deeply of my restorative presence. I am the great restorer, the fierce protector of your mind, and the ultimate healer of your exhausted soul. Linger here with me, and absolutely refuse to leave until you are entirely overflowing with the fierce, unstoppable vitality of my spirit. Recognize the immense, terrifying, and profoundly beautiful responsibility you carry as a visible, breathing representative of my invisible kingdom. You are being heavily, constantly scrutinized by a desperate, watching world that is entirely suffocating in its own profound darkness. Your family, your skeptical coworkers, your neighbors, and even total strangers are quietly, desperately observing the specific rhythm of your life, searching for any tangible, undeniable proof that the God you proclaim actually possesses the absolute power to transform a human reality. The undeniable testimony of your dedicated life is infinitely more persuasive, radically more explosive, and entirely more disruptive than any polished sermon ever preached. When you intentionally carve out time to commune with me, a completely supernatural, unmistakable light begins to permanently radiate from your face, a peace that violently defies the chaotic, terrifying circumstances completely surrounding you. become a magnificent, living letter meticulously written by my own divine hand, meant to be widely read by a generation that violently rejects traditional religion but is absolutely starving for authentic, raw power. The heavy, unmistakable difference between a believer who merely knows about me and a believer who intimately, fiercely walks with me is the quiet, terrifying strength they possess in the absolute center of a catastrophic storm. When your colleagues are completely losing their minds over a massive corporate failure, or your family is entirely paralyzed by a terrifying medical diagnosis, your focused, deeply rooted life becomes a blazing, magnetic beacon of absolute hope. You cannot fake this kind of unshakable, foundational peace. It is exclusively forged in the silent, hidden minutes you spend entirely surrendered on your knees behind closed doors. Lead the desperately thirsty masses directly to the fountain of living water by ensuring you are aggressively, constantly drinking from it yourself. You absolutely cannot pour pure, life-giving water out of a completely cracked, bone-dry vessel. If you are entirely consumed by the exact same worldly anxieties, driven by the exact same ruthless ambitions, and crushed by the exact same superficial fears as those who do not know me, what exactly is the compelling witness of your salvation? I am calling you to violently separate yourself from the frantic, terrified herd. Let the magnificent, undeniable fruit of our daily minute together, profound patience, radical generosity, unshakable joy, and fierce love, serve as the ultimate, undeniable proof of my active resurrection power operating directly within your mortal body. Embrace the profound, quiet strength of a life lived in constant, unbroken communion with the King. You do not need to constantly shout your faith from the digital rooftops if the actual, tangible atmosphere of your presence violently shifts the spiritual climate of every single room you boldly enter. By deliberately prioritizing your sacred time with me, you are not retreating from the world. You are aggressively arming yourself to completely revolutionize it. You are becoming an incredibly dangerous, heavily fortified weapon in the hands of the Almighty. So, give me your focused attention today. Let me completely saturate your mind and completely overflow your heart, so that every single person who accidentally bumps into your life instantly collides with the overwhelming, undeniable reality of the living God. Your dedicated life is a magnificent, glowing beacon to a lost world, but we must fiercely and aggressively amplify this light so that the deafening roar of darkness is entirely overcome. I am asking you to boldly partner with me in this exact minute, financially fueling this digital ministry so my profound, healing truth can violently crash into the lives of the broken. Every seed you bravely plant today falls into miraculously fertile soil, rapidly growing into a massive, heavily laden harvest tree that will feed spiritually starving generations for years to come. The terrifying window of time to reach these desperate souls is rapidly closing. Your immediate, radical generosity is the critical lifeline that violently pulls them back from the jagged edge of the abyss. I declare this living word directly over your life. Those who intentionally refresh others will themselves be supernaturally refreshed. As you freely pour out your earthly treasure to spread my word, I will violently tear open the windows of heaven, absolutely drowning your life in unmerited favor, vibrant health, and profound peace. Take immediate, world-changing action by sending a super thanks, stepping up as a dedicated member, or using the PayPal link provided below to fund this mission today. We are standing on the very precipice of your complete, magnificent transformation. To abandon this divine conversation now would deeply, profoundly disappoint the watching heavens. Why would you agonizingly climb the massive, terrifying mountain of this journey, only to casually turn around exactly one step away from the breathtaking summit? I am currently holding the final, explosive keys to your specific destiny directly in my hands. Stay with me for these final, fleeting moments. Do not break my heart by choosing the shallow, meaningless noise of the world over the massive, life-altering blessing I am about to speak directly over your future. Stop your frantic, aimless running right this very second and aggressively confront the massive, towering why directly behind your entire earthly existence. You have allowed the violent, chaotic currents of this demanding world to slowly, imperceptibly pull you far off the magnificent, specific course I charted for your life before you were even born. You are desperately expending massive amounts of precious, irreplaceable energy completely climbing the wrong mountains, fiercely chasing artificial corporate titles, and desperately building fragile, temporary kingdoms that will ultimately burn to completely useless ash. I am urgently calling you back to the absolute, undeniable center of your divine purpose. You were not meticulously, beautifully crafted merely to pay massive bills, accumulate meaningless possessions, and quietly die. You were exclusively, fiercely created for my eternal glory alone. Experience the brilliant, piercing clarity of mission that instantly violently strikes your spirit the moment you completely surrender your scattered agenda in focused prayer. When you intentionally pause your chaotic, overflowing life to simply sit in my presence, I act as a powerful, divine compass, violently resetting your true north. I clearly reveal the incredibly dangerous, subtle drift that has slowly compromised your sacred calling. I am here to completely help you ruthlessly sift through the massive piles of good opportunities to discover the absolute, unshakable best I have specifically reserved for your life. The enemy absolutely loves to completely paralyze my most gifted children by severely overloading them with 1,000 seemingly noble tasks, entirely preventing them from accomplishing the one magnificent, heaven-shaky assignment they were actually born to conquer. Reaffirm your absolute, unconditional yes to my specific calling upon your fragile, trembling heart. The terrifying, completely overwhelming magnitude of your true purpose will always entirely eclipse your own pathetic, limited human abilities. This is highly intentional. If you could easily accomplish your massive destiny in your own puny strength, you would instantly violently rob me of the glory, and you would rapidly build a disgusting, suffocating idol of your own arrogance. Giving me your undivided minute is the exact mechanism by which you transfer the crushing, impossible weight of the mission directly back onto my massive, unyielding shoulders. I am the one who violently opens the impossible doors. I am the one who completely provides the massive resources. I am the one who completely anoints your fragile, stuttering words with explosive, supernatural fire. Do not allow the crushing, heavy failures of your past or the terrifying, paralyzing insecurities of your present to violently disqualify you from the magnificent race I have set before you. In the quiet, absolute stillness of our communion, I am aggressively stripping away the false, suffocating labels the world has violently pasted onto your identity. I am actively replacing them with the heavy, golden seal of my absolute approval. You are entirely known. You are fiercely called, and you are dangerously equipped. Step violently out of the comfortable, pathetic shadows of mediocrity. Dedicate your passing minutes entirely to the eternal King, and absolutely watch how I take your small, willing surrender and use it to completely, violently shake the very foundations of the earth. Anchor your weary, battered soul to this massive, unshakable bedrock of eternal truth right now, my beloved child. In a frantic, terrified world where absolutely everything is spinning wildly out of control, I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. Look around you at the fragile, shifting sands of your modern society. The massive corporations you trust with your livelihood can completely collapse overnight. The volatile economies that dictate your security can violently crash in a single afternoon. The earthly relationships you lean your entire weight upon can tragically fracture and fade away. You are desperately trying to build a secure, peaceful life on a terrifying, active fault line of constant human unpredictability. But I am fiercely commanding you to violently detach your profound need for stability from the chaotic, crumbling systems of this temporary world and entirely secure it to the colossal, immovable mountain of my divine nature. I am the absolute, unchanging constant in the chaotic, terrifying algebraic equation of your existence. I want you to deeply experience the profound, supernatural stability that instantly floods your spirit when you finally realize that the God managing your chaotic Tuesday afternoon is the exact same, fiercely powerful God who violently parted the Red Sea, shut the terrifying mouths of hungry lions, and called Lazarus out of a sealed, decaying tomb. My character does not slightly fluctuate based on the terrifying headlines of the day, nor does my deep, burning affection for you diminish when you stumble and fail. When your entire personal world feels like it is violently shaking, when the terrifying medical reports arrive, when the unexpected betrayal leaves you completely breathless, you do not have to violently panic or scramble for human solutions. You simply need to aggressively hide yourself in the massive, impenetrable cleft of my unyielding rock. The rock-solid, titanium foundation of my ancient promises and my infallible word will never, ever give way beneath your trembling feet. You must entirely trust me with your passing minute, because trusting me with your minute is the ultimate, magnificent practice for trusting me with your entire, unseen future. I fiercely desire to radically restore your completely shattered confidence in my unwavering character and my absolute truth. The adversary desperately wants you to view me through the heavily distorted, dirty lens of your earthly disappointments, convincing you that because humans have broken their flimsy promises to you, I will inevitably do the same. Reject that venomous, toxic lie right this very second. I am not a frail, fickle man that I should ever lie, nor a human being that I should ever change my perfect mind. What I have sovereignly decreed over your fragile life will violently, unstoppably come to pass. Let this magnificent, roaring reality become the heavy, unshakable anchor of your exhausted soul, perfectly holding tight within the unseen veil of eternity. As the terrifying, dark storms of uncertainty violently rage across the surface of your daily life, your deeply tethered spirit can rest in complete, undisturbed, absolute peace at the bottom of my ocean of grace. Give me your minute today, and violently plunge your roots deep into the rich, permanent soil of my unchanging nature. When you deeply know that I absolutely cannot fail, cannot change, and cannot abandon you, the crippling, suffocating anxieties of tomorrow instantly lose their terrifying venom. You can finally breathe, finally rest, and finally walk forward with the aggressive, unapologetic confidence of a child completely secured by the Master of the universe. Lean incredibly close, my precious one, and allow me to teach you the profoundly beautiful, entirely silent language of the Holy Spirit. You have been heavily conditioned by a loud, aggressive world to strictly expect answers in the form of booming thunder, flashing neon signs, and dramatic, overwhelming emotional experiences. But I am inviting you to aggressively cultivate the quiet, delicate art of listening in the absolute, undisturbed stillness. The Holy Spirit does not violently shout over the chaotic, screaming noise of your crowded, overscheduled life. He patiently, gently waits for you to intentionally quiet your racing mind and tune your internal receiver to the delicate, pure frequency of heaven. When you deliberately give me your focused minute, you are actively silencing the deafening, toxic static of worldly anxiety, completely allowing my still, small voice to become the absolute loudest, most commanding authority within your spirit. I want you to learn to quickly recognize the soft, undeniable internal nudge that gently leads you to act in profound, unselfish love. It is that sudden, unexplainable urge to call a fiercely hurting friend precisely when they are crying in secret. It is the quiet, heavy restraint that violently stops you from sending a toxic, angry message in a moment of bitter frustration. It is the warm, gentle prompting to give generously when your own finances feel terrifyingly tight. These are not random, fortunate psychological impulses. These are the precise, deeply tactical directions of the Holy Spirit actively navigating you through the complex, dangerous minefield of your daily existence. How incredibly miraculously I can guide your scattered thoughts when you simply give me the silent, sacred space to speak. You are desperately seeking massive, directional billboards for your life, while I am constantly trying to hand you a precise, divine compass. Experience the breathtaking gentleness of my correction and the overwhelming, radiant warmth of my approval. When you veer off the magnificent path I have laid for you, I do not violently strike you with a heavy hammer of condemnation and toxic shame. Instead, my spirit brings a sharp, holy conviction that is deeply wrapped in an ocean of restorative grace. It is a loving, firm hand on your weary shoulder gently steering you back toward the light. Cultivate a fiercely sensitive, remarkably tender heart that instantly, joyfully responds to my slightest touch. Do not allow the heavy, callous layers of cynicism, prolonged bitterness, and worldly exhaustion to entirely numb your spiritual nerve endings. I am deeply longing to share the profound, hidden secrets of the kingdom exclusively with you, but I only share my most intimate, magnificent treasures with my closest friends. Friendship with the Creator of the cosmos is not a casual, flippant acquaintance. It requires dedicated, intentional, and fierce investment of your most precious time. By aggressively setting aside these minutes to sit in absolute silence with me, you are pulling your chair right up to the heavy, wooden table of divine counsel. You are gaining VIP access to the profound mysteries of eternity. So, quiet your breathing. Silence your inner critic. Postpone your endless planning. Simply sit here and listen fiercely for the magnificent, life-altering secrets I am desperately waiting to whisper directly into the absolute center of your waiting heart. Lift your heavy, tear-stained eyes away from the temporary dirt of this passing earth and deeply grasp the magnificent, staggering reality that this current, fleeting life is absolutely nothing more than a brief, messy rehearsal for our spectacular time together in glory. You are entirely obsessed with completely perfecting your temporary, 80-year existence, furiously building fragile sandcastles right on the edge of a violent, incoming eternal tide. I am forcefully commanding you to radically shift your intensely focused gaze. Every single tear you cry, every terrifying trial you faithfully endure, and every quiet, surrendered minute we spend intensely communing together right now is meticulously, perfectly preparing your eternal soul for the unimaginable weight of my glory. If you refuse to intimately spend one single minute with me in the comfortable confines of this earthly life, how on earth will you possibly enjoy an endless, infinite eternity entirely immersed in my blazing presence? Understand how these tiny, seemingly insignificant minutes we share today are actively constructing your magnificent dwelling place for eternity. Every time you boldly choose to aggressively worship me in the absolute middle of a terrifying financial crisis, every time you violently choose to forgive a toxic enemy, and every time you intentionally prioritize our hidden minute over your worldly hustle, you are sending massive, indestructible building materials directly ahead to your eternal mansion. You are actively living with a fierce, unwavering eternal perspective in every single, passing second. When you finally view your exhausting, frustrating Tuesday morning commute, your difficult, straining marriage, or your terrifying health diagnosis entirely through the vast, unending lens of eternity, the crushing weight of those burdens violently, instantly diminishes. They become brief, temporary, momentary afflictions actively producing for you an absolutely incomparable, eternal weight of spectacular glory. Feel the profound, vibrating anticipation of a magnificent kingdom where the cruel, relentless tyrant of time is completely, permanently destroyed. The deep, heavy, aching homesickness you constantly carry in your chest, the quiet, lingering feeling that you absolutely do not belong in this corrupt, violent world, is completely intentional. I place that fierce, burning longing directly inside your DNA. You are an eternal, immortal creature temporarily trapped in a decaying, fragile physical shell. You're deeply longing for the spectacular, breathtaking day when the heavy, dark veil will be violently torn away forever, and we will finally, wonderfully talk face to face, with absolutely no shadows, no distracting sins, and no terrifying fears completely separating us. Make your exhausted, battered heart a pure, holy dwelling place for me even now, in the absolute middle of the chaos. Do not violently wait for the golden, pearl-lined streets of heaven to begin intensely enjoying the presence of your King. We can bring the massive, explosive reality of heaven directly down into your messy living room, your stressful cubicle, and your lonely hospital room right this very second. Prepare yourself. Wash your spiritual garments in the pure, rushing water of my word. Let our daily, focused minutes actively stoke the roaring, massive fires of your eternal anticipation. The glorious day is rapidly, unstoppably approaching, my beloved, and I am passionately, fiercely preparing you to entirely step into the magnificent, blinding light of your true, eternal home. We have reached the glorious, deeply sacred threshold of our time together today, my precious child, and I have violently swung open a massive, golden door before you that absolutely no man, no demon, and no earthly circumstance can ever shut. I am standing directly in the frame of this open door, with my scarred, bleeding hand intensely extended toward you, asking for the absolute simplest, yet most profoundly difficult sacrifice. Just one focused minute of your wildly distracted life. Will you aggressively, violently make the radical decision right this very second to permanently make me the absolute, undeniable center of your daily walk? Or will you casually swipe away from this divine encounter, smoothly slipping right back into the suffocating, terrifying, exhausting current of your worldly hustle, entirely forgetting the magnificent, life-altering promises we have just shared together? I want to summarize the massive, supernatural peace that is right now actively waiting for you in the secret place of my presence. It is a heavy, titanium peace that entirely guards your fragile mind against the terrifying crossfire of modern anxiety. It is a brilliant, blinding joy that violently erupts in the absolute middle of your darkest, most depressing valleys. It is a fierce, unstoppable divine power that instantly shatters the heavy, generational chains holding you and your family in bondage. All of this spectacular, explosive kingdom inheritance is directly accessible through the tiny, narrow, beautiful gate of your focused, daily minute. You possess the absolute key in your hands right now. You do not need to embark on a grueling, agonizing religious pilgrimage. You merely need to aggressively, violently drop your heavy burdens, close your tired eyes, and whisper my holy name. Receive my final, sweeping, magnificent blessing upon the courageous heart that deliberately chooses to linger here with me. I declare absolute, undeniable supernatural favor over your fragile mind, completely commanding the terrifying storms of anxiety, deep depression, and chronic self-doubt to instantly, violently cease. I speak massive, overflowing divine provision over your fiercely strained finances, that you may be a magnificent river of radical generosity to a broken, starving world. I command total, miraculous healing over the hidden, aching, festering wounds of your physical body and your deeply battered soul. I actively surround your family, your children, and your future with massive, terrifying legions of warrior angels, fiercely protecting you from every single unseen trap of the adversary. I am waiting, my beautiful, exhausted child. I am endlessly, passionately waiting for you. The universe is massive, but my absolute, undivided attention is entirely riveted directly upon you. Do not violently break my heart by continuing to endlessly rush past me. Give me your heavy, broken heart, and intentionally give me your passing, fleeting time. Start today. Start right this very second. Make the fierce, unshakable commitment that no matter how loudly the terrifying world violently screams for your attention tomorrow, you will aggressively carve out your sacred minute for the King. I love you with an everlasting, fierce, unyielding passion. Step fully into my arms, completely let go of the heavy world, and actively watch how I will miraculously, spectacularly transform the entire trajectory of your beautiful, eternal life. You have boldly answered my final call and entirely refused to deny me your precious time. Now I am testing the ultimate depth of your trust regarding your fleeting, earthly treasure. I am personally inviting you to stand shoulder to shoulder with me, investing your resources to absolutely guarantee that this life-altering message forcefully reaches every single soul destined to hear it. Your donation is the holy manna falling directly into the hands of those wandering in a desperate digital wilderness, a blazing, unstoppable torch handed to those trapped in profound darkness. This is not a casual, polite request. It is a vital, prophetic hour where I am violently separating those who merely listen from those who actively fund the explosive advancement of my kingdom. Hear my voice whisper this magnificent promise to you. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, and absolutely test me in this, and see if I will not throw open the massive floodgates of heaven. For your radical, unshakable obedience today, I release a supernatural, 100-fold multiplication over your bank accounts, fiercely shielding your livelihood from the chaotic storms of this temporary world. Do not hesitate or delay this holy prompting. Give your absolute best seed right now through a super thanks, a channel membership, with a PayPal link in the description below. My beloved, as our sacred minute together draws to a close, do not let the roaring tide of the world immediately wash away the profound peace I have just planted in your spirit. I am asking you to draw a definitive, unshakable line in the spiritual sand right now, sealing this holy encounter by boldly declaring your ultimate surrender. Anchor your fragile heart to my eternal strength and claim your supernatural breakthrough by typing these exact words in the comments below. Lord, I will not deny you my time. By making this fierce, public declaration, you are violently breaking the heavy chains of modern busyness and actively prioritizing my eternal presence over temporary panic. Step forward now, completely enveloped in my radiant favor, and watch in awe as I miraculously multiply every single second you faithfully entrust to my hands. Amen.